track looks good. We talked about Mother Nature not being on our side this morning and last night, and now you look at the track, can't say enough about the Carlson crew. They've done a phenomenal job prepping this track, and look at it, we don't see any standing water.
Yeah, this track crew here at ERX, they're really setting a new standard for how well you can prepare a track and how well you can especially fight this Midwest weather that we constantly fight all season.
Yeah, you see the split lanes right there on camera. That is normally Dale Chestnut in that ride on the right hand of your screen, but today Nick Bing will be piling in that ride. So Super Stock Truck multi-time champion Nick Bing will be getting in a Formula 4x4 once again.
All right, let's meet the rest of the drivers in the field here for our Conrad's Auto Salvage Formula 4x4. And the number 486 is Nathan Hughes. He's in a Ford. Alongside him, another Ford. Number 406 is Cody Summers. In row number 2, the 488 is Randy Shadle. And then you've got your 4-time winner here in 2020. The number 426 is Dan Beauchamp. Rounding out the field of 5 trucks in the Conrad's Auto Salvage Formula 4x4, it's the 499 of Jacob Anderson. Then taking a look at our Double D Services Classics field. The number 677 is Ron Cosiza. 613, as you mentioned, Nick Bing filling in for Dale Chestnut. And your points leader, number 640, is Aaron Conitzer.
Green flag is out here in Elk River, Minnesota. Nathan Hughes out to an early lead. Going into the back section here on camera, you cannot see it until you see this in person, how the elevation changes are. It is so crazy what they've done to the track in the past couple of years. Going through that split lane, I just love it to death. You have to really put your head on straight to get through that section. And I mean, you'll see a lot of drivers throughout the day, Shane, go back and forth, trying it out as you look at Dan Beauchamp, our points leader, trying to wiggle his way up to the front early.
Oh, trouble there for Randy Shadle. It looks like he got hung up on that berm in between the 2 split lanes, so Summers is going to go back up into 3rd. And that allowed Dan Beauchamp up into 2nd.
Hughes!
Trouble for Hughes.
Hughes taking a tractor tire with him, getting back on track. And that's really technical through there. You really have to be patient to go through that little chicane, and already Beauchamp working his way up to the front.
As they come back to the finish line, 1 lap completed. Dan Beauchamp is your leader, as it looks like Hughes might be off the pace now.
Dan Beauchamp already in that rally Ford up front, not wasting any time.
Yeah, there's a look at Hughes, Summers, and Shadle, which is the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. But up front, though, all Dan Beauchamp.
Yeah, Dan Beauchamp, he puts a lot of work into that truck. Ben Pesa, he really knew what he needed to do to build that truck, to make it tough, make it durable for these track conditions. And Dan, he's a phenomenal driver. He knows how to win in Super Stock Truck, but he's obviously found a way to win here in Formula 4x4s.
So look at that, Dan Beauchamp running all by himself out front as he goes up towards Ziegler Cat Hill.
Beauchamp coming through that little chicane, coming down off that drop-off. He will be coming by what will be the finish line here throughout today. Green flag still out. That's lap number 2 out of 6, Shane. So 6 total laps.
All right, now we're taking a look back at our Classics field, and it's looks like Nick Bing in the Dale Chestnut truck is out front, trying to close that points lead that Conitzer has built up. Conitzer has actually also won all 4 rounds and earned all but 1 bonus point. So,
wow.
As these points chases go further into the season, it's going to fall on Nick Bing, or if Dale Chestnut can make it back into the driver's seat, try to close that window.
You notice a lot of guys and gals, you'll see them running multiple different classes. They really try to get their feet wet in the class that they love. Like Nick Bing, he's running in a Super Stock Truck class throughout this weekend, but anytime you can get more seat time, more track time, as a race car driver myself, I would love to drive everything, because you can just put forth what you need to do. More seat time means more drivability, more push forward in your racing career. Like Nick Bing, this is only going to help him for later on this afternoon. He knows what the track's going to do as he flies off that drop-off. And it's talking about knowing what the track's going to do. Like, what's it going to do in the first 3 laps before we get to this mandatory competition caution? He's going to have that figured out by this afternoon.
Yeah, and of course these Sportsmen guys did not get to practice yesterday because of the rain that moved through. Taking a look at Jake Anderson, looks like he is having some trouble as well and will pull off.
Yeah, Anderson's off the pace.
So we have reached our mid-race caution here in the Conrad's Auto Salvage Formula 4x4 and the Double D Services Classics race. Out front, it's Dan Beauchamp trying to make it 5 for 5 here in 2020, but we've got Haley Shanley trackside. Haley, what's going on down there?
Thanks so much. Just kind of throwing it back to our opening rounds here at ERX. Aaron Konitzer in the Classics division, a perfect weekend for him. Also consistent. Ron Gazzisa 3-3. And as far as the Formula 4x4 goes, Dan Beauchamp, of course, he is undefeated. But regardless of the numbers, one of the things I love most about this duo class that always opens up our day here at Championship Off-Road is the camaraderie and the smiles that I get to see trackside and always down at the podium, because no matter what happens on track, I really believe that this class truly personifies what the off-road family is all about.
Thank you, Haley. And yeah, that's what it's all about, the camaraderie, to see all these smiling faces and what we've had going on in 2020. It's not been easy. We can't thank the Carlson family enough for keeping this event alive. This track is so beautiful. They know what they're doing. They can prep anything in a matter of minutes here, and you'll notice throughout the day the races just continuously keep getting quicker and quicker. We have 18 minutes for each race, Shane, so if you're in that driver's seat, you better go and go now, because at 18 minutes, we're throwing that white flag.
Yeah, time is of the essence, Brent, and we'll see. Now we're on our competition yellow. We can talk about that for a moment. A lot of guys play this game where they'll maybe hang back a little bit in the first half and then really turn it up in the second half. Of course, some of these drivers, they like to get out front right away, and then they pick up that bonus point for leading at halfway.
Yeah, you really want to pace yourself, but at the same time, you really have to be ready to go. And speaking of ready to go, Shane, Dan Beauchamp's ready to take this restart. Watch as a green flag flies. Can Beauchamp hold on for number 5?
First time up and over the hill down into turn 1. He's still got Randy Shadle in that number 488 Chevrolet running in second.
Yeah, remember Shado, he went over a couple different times this season, so brand new body back on that truck, but right now our eyes are set on Dan Beauchamp trying to rotate that truck on that inside, going through the split lanes here at ERX Motor Park.
Yeah, it looks like the right lane right now is the preferred line for these Formula 4x4s, as all of our top 3 drivers in that class are taking that right lane. Then they come down into what's called Talladega Turn. It's a big high bank turn, and this camera angle, as great as it is, doesn't do it justice just how steep the banking is down there in Talladega Turn, Brent.
Yeah, you actually have to walk the track to see everything up close and personal as Beauchamp goes up through that section in that rally performance car. And I'll tell you, it's not an easy task to keep clicking laps off. As you see back in the Classics, that is Nick Bing filling in for Dale Chestnut. Big man, he's really on the loud pedal.
Yeah, it looked like Konitzer maybe was putting some pressure on Bing right after the restart, but tell you what, Bing has that Double D Services Ford working right now.
Yeah, Bing bonsaiing off the start and finish line. You see Konitzer right in the screen, but look at this.
Yeah, Shadle now turning it up a little bit on Beauchamp.
Shadle trying to hunt down Dan Beauchamp. Beauchamp better put his foot down, because Shadle is not wasting any time. Beautiful line through the split lanes. We'll see if Shadle goes to the inside. He does.
Brent, I think Beauchamp might be a little bit off the pace here. It looks like he's not quite up to full speed.
Oh, Shadle!
There's more trouble for Shadle. That's the second time he's been hung up on that split lane berm.
Man, he tried 50-50 grinding that berm on the inside. You can't do it. Last time out here at ERX, you could actually jump across those lanes, but they have that berm set pretty high, and you have to choose. You have to go inside or outside.
Once again, down onto the front straight here at ERX for round number 5, and Dan Beauchamp is going to take the white flag here in the Conrad's Auto Salvage Formula 4x4 race.
So I know they have spotters up there, Shane, but I mean, everyone knows that you really have to be consistent, telling your driver how they got to be and where their gaps are. And maybe they just fell asleep at that, because Shadle, he reeled in Dan so quick, made that move, but now Shadle, he's probably kicking himself in the pants going, man, maybe I should have waited a little bit longer to try to make that aggressive move.
Yeah, it's really important as a spotter, and we were just talking to one of the best in the business a few minutes before we went on air when we talked to Charlie McCormick from ATD. He's one of the best spotters in the business as well as a transmission builder. He said it's all about keeping your driver calm. I wonder if maybe Dan got a little bit too calm, and forgot to pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, you get in that zone and you really don't want to be in too deep of a zone. You're trying to be comfortable, trying to hit your lines, hit your marks, and maybe you just got caught sleeping. But Danny really turned that around there with a couple laps to go. And speaking of a couple laps to go, man, a couple turns ago, Shane, here comes Dan Boshaw in that rally four. The 426 going to do it, 5 for 5.
Now back out front, and Conitzer has finally gotten around Bing, so as he enters the final corner down onto the front straight, he'll take the checkered flag. Aaron Conitzer is 5 for 5 in Classics here in 2020.
That famous El Camino showing a little bit of steam, but just in the right nick of time, taking that win. Good run for Nick Bing, showing a lot of speed here at ERX Motor Park. Remember, you're watching the Toyota Off-Road National presented by Lube Tech, and man, that is the first race of the day.
And we're only going to turn up the intensity.
Absolutely. We're starting out with our third place finisher, Cody Somers. Cody, what's it currently taking out there to finish on the box here this morning?
Just finish races. That's all you got to do, just hold the truck together and try and finish the race.
Who would you like to thank?
Thank all my sponsors, Martzell Rigging and Crane Service, T&S Trucking, Fire Protection Specialist, Diggers Pub and Grub, Ledger Lady, and my whole family, my spotter. It's his birthday this weekend, Chris White. Another third place, we're happy.
Cody Somers, congratulations, our third place finisher here today in Formula 4x4. Randy Shadle, you were so close there. You were giving it all you had because it seems like that's what you got to do on a track like ERX.
Yes, it is. Wonderful track. Love it. I'll have that berm going at the end. That's the shortest way around track, so I'll get cleaned out by tomorrow.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here. Wonderful seeing you guys out. It's supposed to be a nice day. Online views, again, are awesome, so I appreciate everybody coming out here. Got Ben Pesa to help her class out, Conrad's Auto Salvage, just everybody that enjoys coming out here, enjoys helping people, so thank you, everybody.
He sure
Appreciate
kept
it.
things interesting for us here in Formula 4x4. That's Randy Shadle. And our winner, Dan Boshaw, a perfect season for you so far. Congratulations. A strong start to the weekend. How about that?
Yeah, it's awesome. Randy was coming up on me there. Ben was talking in my ear, and I couldn't quite hear. I heard him say inside, and next thing you know, I'm getting roosted in the face by Randy on the inside. So I knew I had to start pushing it, but yeah, this class is super fun. Track is awesome. Super glad to be here on top of the box.
Who's putting you up here?
Rally Inc. is helping me travel and get myself in the truck to all the races, and just want to thank my friends and family for all the support.
Congratulations, Dan. This is your Formula 4x4 top 3. We're going to take a quick break. It really was. Our third place finisher, Ron Cosiza. Give us a reaction to that performance.
Well, it was a good time out there. Truck was a little bit off, so I'm going to make a bunch of adjustments and come back tomorrow and hit it a little harder.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank all my friends and family for coming out. ERX, Double D Services, and Crazy Farm.
Ron Cosiza, our third place finisher. Nick Bing filling in today in this class for Dale Chestnut. You know, you don't too often get to run this class. How comfortable were you out there? Because it appeared you were certainly right at home.
Yeah, I got more and more comfortable as the years going on. I stepped in Sunday here and ran the rest of the season. Finally getting comfortable in Bronco, so it's finally coming around. I made a mistake in the back corner with 2 to go, and Aaron tucked under me, so that's racing. We'll have a better shot tomorrow.
Who would you like to thank?
A lot of people. Dale for giving me the chance to drive the truck. Charlie from ATDD for spotting and builds a heck of a trans. Arturo Tire for on Dale's truck, hooked up really well. Off-road fraternity, ERX, everybody thank.
Nick being our second place finisher here for the Classics. And Aaron Conitzer, 5 wins on the season, a perfect year thus far. Congratulations. What's the secret to you so far this season?
I think a lot of hard work. That's the biggest secret, and a lot of help. I got to give my crew a big shout out for always being here with me. And my family, sponsors, Morgan Wood Products, Grave Transport, Schwitty Farms. I got to give these guys a shout out too. They're really tough competitors.
Congratulations on the big win here. This is Aaron Konitzer, our first place
Thanks.
finisher.
I got to give a shout out to Double D Services as well for sponsoring our class this year.
Let's give it up for Aaron and your Classics top 3.
Out of the way and not even climbing towards the front as our pace car should be pulling off this time by, but it maybe looks like,
Yes,
it looks
green
like
flag.
pace car is off. The green flag is flying. So Race Visser going to take the lead early on here at ERX Motor Park.
Got Hunter Van Zyl going to the inside of Wesley Vandervoort. Look for him to try to dive down underneath the 40.
Yeah, Van Zyl picked up his first win in 2020 back in round 4 at Lena. But he's got Ella Holcher in front of him for now as our field goes up and over the rise and down towards that hard left-hand hairpin.
Looks like Andy Johnson in that race-driven Polaris KTM ride trying to work his way up towards the front early on. You see him just coming into our screen.
There's Van Zyl looking to the inside of Ella Holcher. Almost side by side, but both drivers choosing the left-hand lane in the split lane.
Race Visser still out front early on, going what will be our split lane throughout this afternoon.
And you saw Andy Johnson there. He started 10th. He's all the way up to 4th, and he has a 2-point lead on this Muskego Crane Service short course kart field so far.
Looks like all of them mostly taking the inside line. With the limited horsepower they got to take the short way around.
First time up and over the Cooper Tires hill. Van Zyl's going to try setting up on the inside of Holcher.
Yeah, Van Zyl trying to do what he needs to do to get around, going inside, scrubs a little speed. We talked about that momentum.
Yeah, that lost him his opportunity to put a move on Holcher there, so it'll still be Holcher in second with Race Visser leading the field. Van Zyl is third, and Andy Johnson, your points leader, is in fourth.
Yeah, Andy Johnson trying to work his way up in fourth right now, like you said, Shane. Trying to move up in that top spot right there, the 80 of Race Visser.
Looks like
has a little
Johnson's gonna
company.
have a run coming down into this turn.
Look
We've
at
got
Holcher.
the 40 of Holcher going inside of the 80 of Race Visser.
Oh, a little bit of contact. Are they stuck? They're tangled up. That's going to let Van Zyl go to the outside and take the lead.
Yeah, Van Zyl nowhere to be found on our camera. There's our leaders from the previous lap. That's Visser and Nordstrom.
So now it's Van Zyl and Johnson, your new race for the lead.
Now Wesley Vandervoort will move into the third spot.
Yeah, Van Zyl and Johnson are the only two drivers who've won a race in short course kart this year. So the cream has risen to the top here in round 5.
Tough break for Race Visser as we're getting reports a yellow flag is being displayed. So we're going to re-rack, restack these short course cards. But Andy Johnson, man, he was right place at the right time. Now finds himself in second coming up to this new restart. So that race-driven Polaris KTM ride, he's right there. And watch, he's our points leader, Shane.
Yeah, other than, frankly, kind of had a lousy round 4 race, our second day at Dirt City Motorplex in Lena, but won the first 3 rounds, so it's obvious that Johnson knows what it takes to run up front.
Yeah, they've been in this class for a couple different seasons, and their father, Casey Johnson's been putting in a lot of hard work into those cars. But right now, we're going to check down trackside with Haley Shanley. What do you have for us, Haley?
Thanks, guys. It is nothing shy of incredible what Andy Johnson is doing out there. After starting 10th, took him little time to get up towards the front there. He's leading the points by just 2 points. Just second to him is the Thornville, Ohio runner, Ava Lawrence. And if that name sounds familiar, she's the sister of fellow competitor Sam Lawrence and their dad, Pro 4 and Pro Mod side-by-side racer Scotty Lawrence, who's the owner of Rival Motorsports Can-Am, who is a proud supporter of championship off-road racing in the event here this weekend. There's a number of racers here in this field that are next generation racers. It is so cool to see that go fast gene passed down to the next generation.
Thank you very much, Haley. And it's just so cool talking about generations. Like, they're just stepping stone classes, if you ask me, coming into the championship off-road series. I mean, imagine being that age, knowing what your father's doing, knowing what these other classes are and how you need to be to develop as a race car driver. It's not an easy task to drive one of these cars, and Carter, you know it best. I mean, you really have to be on your A game. You might not be going 100 miles an hour, but you have to carry that momentum.
Yeah, you have to get every little bit out of it you can. It's a lot about momentum because they don't have very much horsepower, can't get back up to speed right away like some of the other bigger trucks can.
As we're taking a look at our field, looks like Visser is well back in the field, taking his spot in around the 10th spot. So tough break for Visser, as well as Ella Holcher. They were battling for the lead and then ended up hooked together.
Yeah, it looks like we are getting word we might be seeing Race Visser getting that spot back. So a little bit of help turning him around in the infield section. And if you're Race Visser and Nick Visser, you're happy. You're smiling again. You get another shot at this thing.
See, I don't know why they're holding Hunter Van Zyl here. He's not the one who got into Visser. It was the 40 of Holcher.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, good look. Good call by you, Carter. You see as they come on that infield section, and Holcher just kind of drove right into the bedside.
I don't know what they're holding
Visser.
Van Zyl for here. I don't really know what's going on with that.
Taking a look at this replay, I don't think there was any intent there. That was just good racing, and Holcher, to be fair, Holcher did have a little bit of room there on the inside. It's just a tough break for both of those drivers to have been running up front.
Yeah, and Visser, he had nowhere to go and trying to move through that section in the infield. And, man, he's going to start back out front. So
yeah, they gave the spot back to Visser.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Visser. So he'll try to run away and hide in this second half of the race.
Okay, they've got to fix something here. Van Zyl didn't do anything. He's in the back now.
So let's reset it for you. It is Race Visser. Then it is Andy Johnson running in that number 13 race-driven machine. We'll see if Andy has anything for our leader. Here's another good look at Holger coming in to Race Visser. Yeah, you're right, Shane. They're both running a nice line through that infield, but just kind of got tangled up and nowhere to go for Visser. So I don't think you'd call it a takeout or anything.
Absolutely not. No, that's
just Robbins Racing.
Looks like they will let the 27 of Van Zyl back up to the front.
Yeah, Van Zyl's going to get his spot back. I just talked to scoring and verified that. So, and sometimes it can be hard when scorers are making decisions behind the scenes to end up actually conveying them out to the kids that are driving these carts too. And
yeah, who's really paying attention? Who's really got their head on straight? Like, do I get that spot or don't I get that spot? So you really have to be coherent. You have to be paying attention throughout these races. And these kids, they're not young by all means, but yet they don't have their driver's license yet.
So just to reset the field, it's actually Visser will take his spot back at the front of the field. Then it's Van Zyl, and Johnson will be third on this restart. And it looks like Van de Voort will be fourth. Kraus is fifth.
Nordrum in the sixth spot.
Nordrum, yeah, back up in the sixth place position. There is another good look at Race Visser. Does he have what it takes to bring it to the finish line here in the number 1 spot? Such a cool looking ride. American flag just flying on the bedsides and on the roof of that number 80. As we should be seeing our pace car going off to the left side of your screen as it's Race Visser trying to hold on for a win here at ERX Motor Park. Here we go, Shane. The green flag is about to fly once again.
Green flag. Visser and Van Zyl got out to a pretty good jump over Johnson, and Van Zyl looks like he's got the run going to the outside.
Van Zyl looking outside on Visser. You know, Visser's going to be careful here not to get tangled again in turn number 1, but here comes Johnson.
Him wide.
Yeah, Andy Johnson
goes underneath.
Johnson's looking to the inside. They're side by side going in the back.
Johnson absolutely played that perfectly. He saw Van Zyl go outside to try to get around Visser and saw the open door. So now we've got a side-by-side battle for second into the hairpin. Van Zyl had that preferred inside line, and he'll wrestle the spot back from Johnson. Great racing going on at the front of this Muskego Crane Service short course kart field.
Andy Johnson now falling about 2-3 car lengths behind our leaders, but still Visser out front. Van Zyl all over the back door. We'll see if he can open up a little bit of a gap here. Visser going on this exit. Remember, that is coming out of the split lanes into Talladega turn, and they changed that up a lot this weekend. There is actually a berm that runs right down the middle of the track, so you really have to pay attention. You get into that berm, you can go over multiple times here at ERX Motor Park.
Yeah, they effectively doubled the length of the split lane itself all the way so it goes through Talladega turn. As we take a look at our field heading up Ziegler Cat Hill, riding alongside of Vandevort for a moment there.
Oh, here we go. Look at this. Van Zyl to the inside, the 27, Shane. Not wasting any time.
That'll move Visser back down to second. Van Zyl trying to make it 2 wins in a row here in 2020, but I'm looking at third. It's still Andy Johnson. You cannot count out a guy who's already won 3 races this year.
Yeah, like I said earlier, Andy Johnson doing what he needs to do to get up to the front of this field. Casey Johnson, his father, he's been around off-roads a long, long time, actually a former Super Buggy driver, and he knows what it takes to win in these cars. He has to put all that effort in at home, wrenching on these cars and trucks. But as a driver, Andy and Troy, you really have to get behind the wheel and drive these things because there's no room for mistakes.
Visser for the moment staying right on the back bumper of Hunter Van Zyl.
Andy Johnson still right there. Van Zyl still in the lead.
Yeah, what a tough spot for Race Visser right now that he's trying to keep up with Van Zyl, who's obviously very fast, and then he's got to hold off the charge of Johnson in third.
Yeah, he's about to be in a sandwich here coming up. Parsons Chevrolet on the hood of Visser, trying to work his way up through the field once again. Remember, he had a little contact with Holger to start this race off, got his spot back, now finds himself in second and still hunting down our leader, Van Zyl.
Looks like Vandevort gonna have the run on Johnson for the 3rd spot coming down the hill.
Yeah, the Vandevort and Johnson were side by side. Our leaders have kind of left Andy Johnson behind a little bit.
Yeah, Race Visser still right there, Shane, and you're right. It kind of left him in the dust, kind of, to say the least. I mean, it's hard to talk about dust this weekend when we've seen all that rain that Mother Nature has put down, but the Carlson family has done a phenomenal job. This is perfect racing conditions.
Now let's see if Visser can put a move back on Van Zyl as they come into turn 1. Looks like Van Zyl maybe had the some ESP working there and knew that Visser was looking inside because Van Zyl moved all the way to the bottom to block that line.
Yeah, you've seen Van Zyl try to chop that off. Here comes Visser again, about 2 car lengths as they're coming into that back 180, and they changed that up a lot this weekend. It kind of flows out. It's a little bit wider, but tighter at the same time. You have a little bit wider exit, but you really, right here, you go on this drone shot, such a cool shot. Which way do you go, left or right? You have to make that decision back at that 180.
Yeah, and as Carter alluded to earlier, all these karts are taking the left lane because you're kind of locked in all the way through Talladega turn now, and that's obviously the shorter way around, and that's so important for these karts.
As well as the right lane being a lot rougher looking to get to, with how much these karts get slowed down and how little horsepower they have. That's really rough on them.
Look at this, Carter. We got Visser looking to that inside. They're climbing the hill, just creeping the top of that flyaway. We'll see if Visser can get a run. Here he comes in that little chicane in Ziegler Cat turn.
Yeah, they were almost bumper to bumper, and once again bumper to bumper as they go up to the top of Ziegler Cat Hill toward the flyway. Let's see who gets a run down the hill better. Looks like they're about dead even as they come down the hill.
Van Zyl still in the lead, coming by what will be the finish line. Visser not going away. Our leaders opened up about a 5-6 car length gap in the beginning parts of this restart, but now they're looking at about 10, 12, maybe 15 car lengths.
Yeah, it's a long way back to Andy Johnson in third, as it looks like Van Zyl has opened up a couple of lengths now on Race Visser.
Boy, Andy Johnson just fading back in that 3rd place position. Not a bad run, a good points day for him, running in that 3rd place spot. But right now we go back up front. Van Zyl, Shane, doing what he needs to do, staying out in that lead. But here comes Visser. You see him, he's trying to widen those turns. Very, very smart on his part.
Yeah, really, technical driving. This is a really great job by both of these kids that are running out front.
Oh, look at
Here we go, a little contact.
Oh,
Visser spins Van Zyl.
Visser, Van Zyl takes Visser with him. Let's see if they can reclaim their spot. I don't know.
Visser gets the lead coming out of that. It
Yeah,
looks like
no.
Vandevoort's in the outside lane for once. And he'll have a run on Visser coming up the outside.
Boy, race officials are going to have fun with this one. Visser back out front, but it looked like Visser got into the bedside of Van Zyl. I don't know, maybe got a little help.
Yeah, that was a lot of contact there. As you see Van Zyl charging back. He's on the outside of Johnson as they head up the hill and makes the move. So Van Zyl already back up into third. He had fallen to fourth for a moment. The biggest benefit there was to the 96 of Vandevoort.
Yeah, and you seen Troy Johnson through that split lane. It looked like he reclaimed and took over that second, third place spot, but he's faded back about 3-4 car lengths. As we look at our leaders once again, here comes Visser.
We've got a pileup going up the hill. Holcher and Hinton are off the track to the right.
Yeah, so trouble. Yeah, Holcher was running up front early and then got tangled with Visser. But back out front, Race Visser holding on for dear life.
Now
As
Van Zyl looks under.
Whoa, a little contact there. Van Zyl put a fender on Vandevoort.
Yeah, Vandevoort making a little contact. We'll see if Vandevoort can hold on to that second place spot. Remember, the white flag was being displayed. So one final time here around ERX Motor Park.
We talked about how technically proficient some of these drivers are and how extremely consistent they are, but hey, at the same time, they're not afraid to play a little bit physical, as we've seen over these last couple laps.
No,
I know, and that's what's
trying that right side lane.
That's what's so crazy, though, Shane. They don't really take anything away from these short course carts. You look at them, yeah, they're young kids, but they have the gloves off. They're battling as we go back to the front.
Visser has a slight advantage.
Yeah, Vandevoort trying that outside line. It's a higher hill on that outside split lane, so you get a little bit better run down the hill.
Vandevoort trying to climb that incline off that flyaway, the 96, the pedals down to the floor. Less than a half a lap to go. It's all Race Visser. Remember, coming through those split lanes, Visser made a little contact with Van Zyl, so we'll have to wait and see as there's Van Zyl in our screen.
Yeah, Van Zyl charging hard. He's on the inside of Vandevoort. More contact.
Vandevoort shuts the door and says, not today. So coming to the checkered flag, it's gonna be the number 80 of Visser. Race Visser will take the win. Second will be Vandevoort, and then Van Zyl will round out your top three. And boy, Andy Johnson looks like he lost a spot at the end.
Yeah, Johnson fell all the way down to fifth.
Good race by Visser. Race Visser in that number 80, taking the W.
We're going to have to see what the official results are on that, because there was quite a bit of heavy contact between Visser and Van Zyl coming out of the split lanes.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of contact. Like I said earlier, you take the gloves off in this class. I mean, before, I remember when you guys are running, you guys are pretty clean. You had contact once in a while. But now, I mean, they're racing like they're a super stock truck class.
Yeah, we had quite a few incidents, too.
Yeah, I was giving you credit.
Another look at your finishing order there. It was Race Visser, for the moment, will be scored as your race winner. Then Vandevoort, Van Zyl, Nordrum, and Johnson, your top five. We are going to take a quick break and sort this one out.
If I'm Nordrum, I'm waiting eagerly.
There most certainly was. What a race. We're going to start out with our third place finisher, Hunter Van Zyl. Hunter, come on up to the mic. You were collected in mayhem there, but you were able to turn things around and you really put the hammer down. So what did you have to tell yourself there and able to be cool, calm, and collected and finish the race like you did?
Yeah, I just had to stay cool and calm and listen to my spotter, Troy, and it was pretty fun.
What was your spotter telling you in the later half of the race there?
Just to stay in the race and don't get mad and just stay calm.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, Troy, Doug Hayes, all my sponsors, and that's mostly it.
Hunter Van Zyl, he's our third place finisher. Wesley Vandevoort, our second place finisher. You know, you saw the chaos there and you took the outside lane in the split section, and that's where you were actually to make the pass for second place there. So talk to me about the decision to run that outside line. What did you tell yourself?
Well, I saw him going on the
side, so I thought, why not just make a run on the outside.
That was some quick thinking. Who would you like to thank for this podium?
My mom, my dad, Travis, all my sponsors.
Wesley Vandevort, our second place finisher here in the short course carts. And Brace Visser, our winner. All smiles down here. Congratulations, dude. You led at the competition yellow, a very solid race for you, but you did not go unpressured. So what did you have to do to be able to combat that pressure that you seemed to get throughout that one?
I pedaled to the metal.
Pedal to the metal. And it all paid off for you, my friend. Who would you like to thank for the win?
I thank my mom, my dad, all my sponsors, my grandma and grandpa, my sponsor, Luke. That should be it.
Race Visser, he's taking home the gold medal here in your short course carts. Let's give it up for your top three.
It's Antonio Inglesi. Starting sixth from Bark River, Michigan, it's Zach Rahanowitz.
And starting in the 7th spot, Michael Funk in the 207. Alongside of Michael Funk, Easton Sleeper will be starting in that 8th position in the 213. Then Sam Marquardt and Josie Watkins will round out your top 10 here in Mod Kart. Remember, these cars get up and go. Our pace car will be pulling off here in a couple turns, and be ready. Zach Rahanowitz, he's ran in Mod Kart the past couple seasons, showing a lot of speed in that Edwards Collision Ford.
Yeah, right. So far here in 2020, though, it's been nothing but the HBI number 290 of Sam Marquardt. He's 4 for 4, trying to make it 5 for 5.
Right now, looks like Troy Johnson on that inside, the race-driven Polaris KTM ride. Napa on board, gonna take the first green flag of this weekend.
Funk with a huge run to the inside. He goes from 7th to 2nd in one turn.
It looks like Troy Johnson's out to an early lead, about 5-6 car lengths.
Taking a look now
Funk
at
and Marquardt closing quick.
Yeah, Funk and Marquardt. You see Funk a little bit up on the bike there for the moment, as well as Marquardt. Marquardt's taking the right-hand split lane right on lap number 1 here.
Yeah, Marquardt, he decided right at the last minute, I'm going outside. We'll see how that develops. Both lines look fairly nice.
Now this is probably the most fun class to watch through the rhythm section. They're so small and so fast, they get bucked real quick.
Yeah, Marquardt looked to be the only front runner who went all the way around the outside split lane of Talladega Turn as well, and he's trying to make that pay off as he has caught up to Funk. Up the Ziegler-Cat Hill toward the flyway they go.
Johnson still out front, Napa on board of that hood. This weekend, the 211 carrying his speed. Kind of brushes a little bit wide, letting Funk on that inside. So pay attention. We'll see if Funk can cross him back over going in the back section.
Marquardt gonna dive to the inside on Funk.
Oh, we're side by side. Let's see.
Still side by side as they go up and over the hill. Funk has the inside as they go toward the left-hand hairpin turn at the western end of our course here at ERX Motor Park.
Funk with the inside. They're both going to go for the inside split lane.
Yeah, Funk had
a little momentum.
Funk absolutely nailed that corner. Almost was able to put a move on Johnson as they came out of that corner. And Marquardt on the outside has a great run.
Yeah, Marquardt takes over that top spot. Johnson maybe caught sleeping. Oh, swapping back and forth. Looks like Funk. He got it collected. Now Johnson back on the loud pedal. We'll see. Can he get back? Marquardt climbing that hill.
It's going to be Marquardt slamming the door on Johnson. As they head up Ziegler-Cat Hill.
Funk, hard crash, hits that outside berm going up the Ziegler Hill.
There's
Funk. Right in the middle of the track.
Mike
Sleeper
Funk.
and Inglesi.
Looks like Michael Funk's day might be over as he sits on the driver's side, as we're going to see the yellow flag come out that time by. And there's a good look at Funk, Shane.
Yeah, he's stuck over on his side. Rolled a couple times going up the hill. He was carrying a ton of speed, just got hooked on the berm a little bit.
Good sign. We do see him moving around inside.
Take a good look. Yeah, look at
caught
that.
part of it there.
Yeah, we just caught the ending of that crash, but man, hard rollover.
Yeah, first things first, we're going to take a look and make sure that Michael Funk is okay there. tough break for him. I mean, running strong up in the top 3 and mixing it up with Marquardt and Johnson.
Does look like he's rolling away from it. He might try to rejoin the field.
Well, we're going to go down trackside right now with Haley Shanley. What do you have for us, Haley?
Yeah, that is such a tricky section of the track there. When I was out walking it earlier this morning, you know, you'll notice that right-hander turn right after the flyaway, that is a progressively banked turn. That is going to create wide racing from top to bottom. It's also a no-lift zone as you head into the Ziegler Catapult. You'll notice as those drivers were going up the hill, they had to make a quick revert around that driver in order to avoid him in that rollover there. But it came down to last second because the visibility, it may not do justice from your perspective or from the cameras, but that is an intense uphill. So they probably weren't even able to see that rollover until they were just close enough, but we're glad to see no one else get tangled up in that. Glad the driver's okay.
Thank you very much, Haley. And she's right, Shane. I mean, when you walk this track, you see the different elevation changes. There's blind entries, blind exits. You really have to know this track. And not only knowing the track, you have to know where you're at on that track at the same time. Then you throw a couple trucks rolled over, you really have to be on your A game.
Yeah, we've had drivers describe it to us as on this track here at ERX Motor Park, you're either going uphill, downhill, you're turning, or you're in the air. There is no flat straightaway anywhere on this course.
Yeah, we talk about our tracks like Crandon and Bark River, how they're just fast, bad, fast tracks laid out. You can kind of, and not sit back and relax, but you can kind of pull a tear off, have time to do something. Here, you don't have any time. You're racing the whole time. You really have to be on top of it. And right now, it is all our top spot of Jorgensen, Funk, and Glees, and Rahanowitz. Rahanowitz, very, very quick. He's progressed a lot. His sister, Paige Rahanowitz, she's now in a side-by-side. She was in mod kart, so just the stepping stones are unreal here in Champ Off-Road.
Looks like amazingly, Michael Funk will rejoin the field. Not too much really looks wrong with that truck at all.
Yeah, unfortunately for Funk, though, he's all the way at the tail end of the field on this restart, so a long way to go for Funk if he wants to be, you know, in the conversation up front with Marquardt and Johnson once again.
I wouldn't count him out. He went from 7th to 2nd in one straightaway and turn on the first lap. We'll see what he can do here.
Well, we should be going back to the green flag this time by. Can Marquardt run away and high, but Troy Johnson gonna try to have something to do with it. The green flag flies. HBI still out front.
Marquardt trying to make it 5 for 5, as we said here in 2020. Great start there by Marquardt as he already opened up about 5 truck lengths. Look at those battles going on. Johnson is in 2nd.
Looks like Rahanowitz trying to go to the inside of Inglis. He will make the pass stick.
Yeah, so Rahanowitz now up into the top 3. Now a good healthy mix of drivers going both left and right through the split lane. Marquardt really made that outside line work a couple laps ago when he was able to wrestle the lead away from Funk.
Just hear those engines roaring. That is Easton Sleeper in that 213 climbing the hill. Back up towards the front. It looks like Zachary Rahanowitz has gotten around Johnson.
Yeah, a little power move on the outside there to get around Johnson.
Meanwhile, Funk has already made 3 spots up. Don't count him out of this race at all.
After being upside down, Funk back on the loud pedal as we go back up towards the front. Andy Johnson going under that banner by the finish line.
Yeah, we got to look there at Easy East. And Sleeper is now up into 4th. Haven't heard much from him this race, but still a few laps left, so he could turn it up and be a factor as well.
Zachary Rahanowitz in that 231, doing a fine job. Looks like the 225 of Gill is off pace.
Yeah,
he's parked.
Yeah, tough break for the Stealth Oil Well Services machine.
Now Rahanowitz splitting lanes with Troy Johnson, and he will make the move. He's up to 2nd.
Well, yeah, you nailed it, Carter. Rahanowitz with that great run on the inside, so now we've seen passes and great runs being made on both sides of the split lane.
Definitely Zachary Rahanowitz coming through Ziegler Cat turn. A nice little chicane coming close to that tractor tire as Johnson still holding on to that final podium spot.
Looks like Sleeper's closing fast. Look for him to try to get a run through the split lanes like everybody else has.
Boy, they both went really, really wide, Shane. Sleeper getting close to that K-rail, button right back up on Johnson. Johnson shuts the door.
Sleeper tried looking to the inside. Now they're going to go up and over the rise and towards the hairpin. Back behind us here at ERX Motor Park. Johnson with a little bit better run down the hill that time. So Sleeper not close enough to make a move. Again, both drivers. Actually looks like Johnson's going to go left while Sleeper goes to the right.
Yeah, they both kind of made a mistake there for a little bit. It was really, really hard to judge, but Sleeper looks like the buttoning back. He's buttoning back up on Johnson. Sleeper to the outside, Johnson to the inside.
Johnson looks like he's off the pace here.
Yeah, Johnson definitely not on race pace.
Maybe something has been going wrong the past couple laps for Johnson, as Johnson is definitely off the pace.
Funk in the 296.
Yeah, Chase Miller in that 296.
Yeah, Funk in the 207. Yeah, looks like Funk got back underway, back up front. That's Marquardt once again in that HBI ride. Rahanowitz will come across in second, Sleeper in third, as that mandatory competition cautions out that time by.
Yeah, 201 Porter and Glazy up into the fourth.
Looked like Miller just stalled out and collected Funk.
Yeah, Miller's one of our newcomers here in the mod cart class. I believe he made his debut at Lena just a couple weeks ago. But now the whole field stacked back together once again. Tell you what, Sam Marquardt has looked like the guy to beat all year.
Yeah, for sure. He's been really, really fast. And you look at Zachary Rahanowitz in that 231. He's very, very quick as well. It gives him another shot at Marquardt. Well, we're going to go down trackside. And Haley, what do you have for us?
Yeah, just kind of a recap here on the difference between the class we see here on track and the preceding class, our short course karts. If you're new to off-road, here's the lowdown, and if you've seen a race or two, maybe just a refresher for you. So our short course karts, these are 100% spec mini trucks. These bad boys have Briggs & Stratton power plants. They're built for younger drivers ages 7 to 15 in our mod karts, 400cc Honda motors, manual machines. These are going to reach speeds up to 65 miles per hour, and they're designed for drivers age 11 to 16. Now, these mod karts, they look very similar to our short course karts, but many differences under the hood, and the mod karts tend to be the natural next step for our short course kart drivers.
Thank you, Haley, and she's right. It's just a stepping stone, but the speeds are there here in mod karts, so a lot of horsepower under the hood, 70 miles an hour top speed, so watch as they are going to try to put the hammer down in this second half, and it's been all Marquardt in that 290 HBI ride. But don't count out Zachary Rahanowitz, Shane. He's looking really, really quick. Edwards Collision on board. His father, Mark Rahanowitz, been around the game a long, long time. Former Sportsman 2 and Pro 2 racer Ben Wanasiga. Mark was on board of that program and had a lot of wins.
Yeah, I actually really like the drive that Rahanowitz has had over these last couple laps. He's just driving extremely consistently, not making any mistakes, while everybody else around him is making all the mistakes for him. He's found his way all the way up into second. Now he's got a legitimate shot at putting a move here on Marquardt.
Yeah, and you definitely have to pay attention on this restart. You know Marquardt, he's going to go for that fast line. If you're Zach Rahanowitz, you have time. You have time to set up a pass, but you can't afford to let him go out front and open up about 10, 12 car lengths. So pay attention. It is Marquardt. Then Zachary Rahanowitz and Easton Sleeper, your top three, as a green flag flies here after the mandatory competition caution.
And right away, Sleeper tried moving over a lane to look around Rahanowitz. Nothing doing there as they go through turn number one.
Oh, the 212 of Inglis is flipped over already.
Oh, so we might have another caution. We'll see how quickly our ERX track crew can get that one sorted out.
Wow, Marquardt goes wide. Yeah, you're right, Shane. Back up front. Zach Rahanowitz, he's going to follow him through the door of Marquardt. And here comes Easton Sleeper looking on the right of our screen.
Yeah, Sleeper trying to make that outside line through the split lane work for him.
The 212 of Inglis was back underway on his own, but now he's slowing again.
Easton Sleeper trying to carry that momentum a long way around there in Talladega Turn.
He might have the
pressing that
momentum
hill.
coming up the inside of the Ziegler-Cat turn.
Yeah, Rahanowitz, he better be ready. Here comes Easton Sleeper. Sleeper gonna try to go outside, inside. Rahanowitz still holding on to that spot. Boy, Sleeper getting really, really wide on exit, going by what will be the finish line. Another nice, cool drone shot.
Yeah, Sleeper's going to have to clean up those little mistakes that we've seen over the last lap or so. As that is your battle for second. Rahanowitz from Bark River, Michigan, and Easton Sleeper from Tomahawk, Wisconsin.
Sleeper trying to dive to the inside of Rahanowitz. Rahanowitz gets up and gets out of there. Now they're on each side of that split lane. Sleeper not giving up.
Much better run that time for Sleeper through that outside split lane. We'll see if it can pay off here with the run on the top side of Talladega turn.
Yeah, it looks like Sleeper, he'll get a good run, and then just one little mistake. It's not a big mistake, but a little mistake here.
He's got an even better run this time. He's going to be on the inside of Rahanowitz. Looks like he'll make the pass stick. Rahanowitz tries to cross back underneath. It looks like Easton's got the spot.
Yeah, great move there. Set it up a couple corners in advance, took the outside split lane, got that run out of Talladega turn, and Easton Sleeper has stolen second place from Zach Rahanowitz, but that battle's a long way from over, Brent.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like Sleeper, he kind of went wide once again, giving Zachary Rahanowitz, they're side by side, giving Zach a shot. Zach gave him a little bump and said, hey, I want that spot back, and just moved him out of the way.
Great race going on here for second place as Rahanowitz wrestles it back away from Easton Sleeper.
Meanwhile, the 290 of Marquardt running away for the 5th race this year.
Sleeper going really wide again, going to the wide side of the split lanes, the outside on our screen. We'll see if he can make that run once again. He carries his speed so good through this rhythm section, Shane. He's trying to double in, singling out, just swapping right there. That's what cost him.
Carter said during the short course kart race that the outside lane is that much rougher, so you're really rolling the dice, and Sleeper's doing that lap after lap, you know, taking a chance, hoping that he can find just that perfect smooth run, and that time it didn't pay off.
Right, you're trying to look at him, trying to figure out where you're quicker, but if you make that mistake, it takes everything away. But we should be coming to the white flag this time by still Marquardt, Rahanowitz, and Sleeper, your top three.
Now let's see if Sleeper can maybe close the gap a little bit through turn one. Looks like both drivers running just about the same line through turn one.
Boy, Sleeper, he has the quick car. He definitely has the speed this afternoon. But Rahanowitz, he's been pretty much perfect at driving. As I see, oh, here comes Sleeper. Sleeper gonna put my foot in my mouth. He's like, hey, Brent, I'm gonna take over that spot. But Zach Rahanowitz, he ain't going away either.
Yeah, big power move there by Sleeper, and he'll have the advantage. Again, though, Sleeper taking the chance on the outside split lane for that better run down the hill. We'll see if he can clean it up through these rough rhythm section rollers here.
Looks
and
like
he
does.
Makes
it through the rollers clean.
Yeah, that
so
was a perfect run. Perfect run there by Sleeper.
Kudos to Easton Sleeper taking over that second place spot. Nowhere to be found on camera right now is Marquardt, as we only have a couple turns to go. Zach Rahanowitz looking to the inside.
Checkered flag is out, Brent, your round 5 winner in Mod Kart is Sam Marquardt. He's 5 for 5 here in 2020.
Easton Sleeper will hold off the hard-charging Zach Rahanowitz for second place.
What a drive by Easton Sleeper in that 213. Made a couple of mistakes throughout the race.
Great battle. Great drive by Rahanowitz, too. I mean, really turned up the intensity, ratcheted it up in the second half and the closing laps. Put that beautiful physical pass on Sleeper, and then just made that one mistake and gave the position right back.
I've been lucky enough over the years to get to call these races and watching these kids develop, watching them grow as race car drivers, and watch Easton Sleeper.
And how about that one? Starting with Zach Rahanowitz, our 3rd place finisher. Zach, you really brought the excitement there. You continued to put the pressure on, so give us a reaction. What's going through your mind after a run like that?
Well, I was trying to beat Easton, but he's a lot faster coming out of the corners. I was going to take the inside, but then I would have cut him off, so I let him get by me. But then the split lanes are really loose, so I couldn't gain enough speed to get by him, but he had a nice race.
A very solid run for you as well. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Race Driven at Edwards Collision Center, my mom, my dad, and the rest of my family watching me.
Congratulations, Zach Werhanowitz, our third place finisher here in Mod Kart. Easton Sleeper, you had some work to do. You made your way up towards the front there. After that pass for second, the battle, it was far from over. Where exactly were you finding the speed here this morning?
I just got a new motor built. B&B Power Sports, especially John, put a whole bunch of money in my motor. It's one of the fastest motors I've ever had, and I had a great time at this track. I can't do this to all my sponsors. My dad, my grandma and grandpa for building the new motor. All the Kirchner family helping me. B&B Power Sports, Doc, NGK, Trip Express, Mum Muncher for keeping my face out there clean, actually. And then all my sponsors for helping me, especially Off-Road Fraternity. Everybody else, thank you so much.
Hats off to Easton Sleeper in second. Sam Marquardt, a perfect season for you thus far. In this one, you seem to have found another zip code. So what exactly were you and your spotter finding out there?
My spotter Dylan told me where to not to go and where to go and where is faster and don't do that and that kind of stuff.
Who would you like to thank for the win?
My mom, my dad, my sister, everyone that came out here, my Uncle Todd, Brad, my grandpa, Broken Dirty, Holzer Motorsports, Delina Legend, HBI, Donna Jennifer, Finktown Customs, and Revolution.
Sam Marquardt, he's claiming gold here. Let's get loud for your top three in Mod Kart. Back to you guys.
94 from Menasha, Wisconsin. Then from Neenah, Wisconsin, Colin Schultz in the 177. In the 11th spot, Tyson Marquardt will be in the 122. And in the 12th position, Billy Booth from Hearnville, Wisconsin will round out your top 12.
Then starting outside our top 12 points inversion, starting 13th, the number 172 is Greg Stingle. Number 112 is Dan Burr. In the number 149, it's Joe Jorgensen. Ed Holcher is out there in the number 100. Hunter Tinkley will be in the number 170. Spencer Janis at the number 104 will start 18th. Jeff Wolf is the number 165. Jake Shillman is the number 116. Julia Keat is in the number 131. Starting all the way back in 22nd, last year's defending World Championship winner was Sean Springstrow. And rounding out the 23-car field, a rookie making her debut in off-road racing from Seymour, Wisconsin. The number 118 is Jodel Yachno.
The pace car is off the track, and we are 2 by 2. The green flag is flown. We're underway here in 1600 light buggy.
Connor Schultz got a great start as they head down into turn number 1. Looks like Schultz about 5 car lengths ahead of Holcher in that 144, with Graff holding on to 3rd. Patnod all the way up into 4th already, so a good start for Patnod. Looks like our leader taking the left lane. Everybody else going to the outside right lane, trying to carry a little bit more momentum down the hill into Talladega Turn. As you see Holcher.
Wow, Holcher.
Tank slapper there for Amber Holcher.
Yeah, looks like Holcher back and forth.
As she's back on the throttle, still holding on to 2nd place. That's the battle for 2nd for the moment with Patnod. And here comes the 122, started all the way in 11th. It's Tyson Marquardt up into the top 4.
Marquardt now up into the top 4, like you said, Shane. Trying to work up to that podium position.
As they came off the Ziegler catapult back down underneath the finish line, it's Schultz, Holcher, and Marquardt nearly side by side as they go into turn 1, but Marquardt was stuck on the outside, nowhere to go for him. He'll dive to the inside now of Amber Holcher, and he made it work. So Marquardt, Tyson Marquardt from Lena, currently 2nd in points and 2nd in this race.
Marquardt definitely doing what he needs to do in that 122. Patnod in the 174 running 4th now. And Holger still trying to work with Patnod. They're side by side. Once again, going into the rhythm section in the Talladega Turn. There's only so much room, boy, bucking like a bronco over that rhythm section.
Yeah, Holcher having all kinds of problems on that outside split lane through the rhythm section. It looks like she's able to get another pretty good run out at Talladega Corner, but here comes Patnod. As we look back out front, Look at this, Schultz, but Marquardt, who started 11th, so 6 rows back, is all the way up into second and putting pressure on our leader.
There's the 129 Schultz. 2-3 car lengths. That's about it over Marquardt. Here comes Marquardt. Marquardt looking to the inside once again, Shane. Nothing yet. You can tie a rope to the back of Schultz. That's how close they are as they head back in that 180. Looks like Marquardt's going to be on the inside.
Into the left-hander, Schultz scrubbed a little bit of speed on the outside, had a ton of speed on entry, but scrubbed a lot of it off. Schultz clinging to that outside line in the split lane. Marquardt taking the inside this time, the safe line as we've called it this morning so far.
Schultz going the long way around. There's Marquardt casing into that last jump into Talladega turn, and you can just see it on our camera, that gap. Going through Ziegler Cat turn once again. There is Schultz on your screen in that 129 blue and orange ride, coming by what will be the finish line once again.
Yeah, 3 laps down, 5 laps to go here for our 1600 light buggies. Another look at Marquardt. Look who snuck into third, Brent. Billy Booth, our points leader, who started 12th, is now up into third place.
Wow, Billy Booth now running in that third place position. And Billy, he's been running a couple different classes this year, running in the single buggy class as well. I remember back out here at ERX, he was still trying to figure it out, get the carburetor to be right. They were adjusting it, him and his father, and it looks like they have things figured out here in 2020 as we go back to the front.
Yeah, now lap car, trouble there as Schultz got stuck behind Yako.
Lap traffic could be a factor, Shane. Here we go.
There goes Marquardt up the inside as they go up the flyway, jump side by side. Schultz with a little bit better run on Marquardt.
Yeah, Schultz going through Ziegler Cat turn, that little right and left-hander. Such a cool corner to finesse as we look like we have one of the markers right in the middle of the track.
Yeah, either a marker or a buggy tire laying there on the track, so someone might be having a rough day further back in the field as we have reached our mid-race caution. Connor Schultz started on the front row, and he will pick up the bonus points for leading at halfway.
Already coming up to the mandatory competition caution. We're going to take another look. That, you're right.
That's definitely a buggy tire there. Oh, Tingley drives right over the top of that tire.
Hunter Tingley just running over the top, and you were correct, Shane, that somebody lost a tire in the beginning parts of that race. But right now, we're going to go down trackside with Haley Shanley. What do you have for us, Haley?
Not only do we have some good battles heating up out there, but the points battle for this class. Points leader Billy Booth, he separates Tyson Marquardt in second by just 1 point. In rounds 3 and 4 in Lena, Wisconsin at Dirt City Motorplex, Billy went 2-1 and Marquardt 3-2. Based on what we're seeing out there here already, I think you can see that this weekend, and this points battle is going to continue to heat up as we move along here.
Well, thank you, Haley. And yeah, this points battle is definitely going to start shaking up throughout the rest of this season. Halfway point in 2020. And man, if you're Schultz, you have a lot of company behind you. Don't count out Marquardt, Booth, as well as the other number 177. Schultz as well going to be up into that third place running spot. So the top 3 yet to be decided this afternoon here in 1600 light buggy. And you can read all the way down to the top 10. Anyone at any given time can win this race, Shane.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Patnaud, a perfect example. He's sitting there in 5th right now, but he was mixing it up in the top 3 early on in this one, and it really is anybody's game. One car number that I noticed is an awful lot closer to the front than when this race started is that 177 of Colin Schultz. His twin brother Connor is out front right now, but Colin Schultz all the way up to 4th. He's right behind points leader Billy Booth.
Yeah, definitely. And Connor, he's doing a fine job this afternoon. You always see that Schultz name up in the top 5 week in and week out. Good look at the 129 there as our pace car, Richie Kuloff, gonna come around that Ziegler Cat turn once again, come down that drop off, pull off to the left side of your screen, and we're gonna be back underway.
And you'll see the restart here for light buggy looks a little bit different. We're doing a Delaware style restart. in the interest of keeping the field all a little closer together instead of 23 cars all nose to tail, the leader gets front row all by himself. The car in second place can decide whether he wants inside or outside of row 2, and then from there on back, they just stagger him just like they would on a regular start.
Yeah, such a cool idea. Awesome by everyone here at Champ Off-Road, trying to mix things up. But if you're Billy Booth, you're like, man, I'm right there. I have another shot at this thing. So keep your eye on the 151 as we're about to go back. Green flag and Schultz, Marquardt, Booth, your top 3.
Booth is going to stay side by side with Marquardt as they go up and over the hill into turn 1. Booth's got the inside. Your defending class champion, current points leader, Billy Booth. And it looks like he has stolen second place from Marquardt. And there's Padnout again.
Yeah, Padnout's right there as well. Booth not wasting any time in that 151. Schultz, you better put the loud pedal down because here comes Billy. Going through that famous split lane here at ERX Motor Park. Such a cool drone shot once again you'll see throughout this weekend. Man, just tank swapping that car.
All over the place. Yeah, Carter Vanderpool, that was some good inside knowledge that the right-hand lane is rough. We've seen that manifesting here in light buggy quite a bit.
We're still looking back up front. There's Billy Booth going through Ziegler Cat turn.
And Marquardt not going away, though. That battle for second raging on. And there is Colin Schultz in fourth. He's in the mix as well.
Oh,
He's got some trouble.
The 194.
Yeah, Taylor Roloff, who pits with the Schultz brothers.
Yeah, not a good day. Looks like might have caught one of those tractor tires coming through the rhythm section into Talladega turn. So maybe we'll have another look at that. But man, such a fast section here in the 1600 light buggy, and you have to keep an eye out for those things. I remember last time we were here at ERX Motor Park, Kyle Duke and CJ Greaves are getting so close. And it's like you just kind of screens. You're like, oh man, are they going to hit it or not? But that's how hard these guys are racing.
All right, I'm seeing a yellow flag out at the flag stand, so we're going back to full course caution as our track crew deals with the stopped number 194 of Roloff.
And we've seen that different style restart, Shane. I mean, go into depth a little bit about it. We're kind of doing things different because of a couple different scenarios we had back at Lena. So,
yeah, the problem with the single file restart for our bigger classes is that maybe you had some lousy luck in the first half. You find yourself back in 16th place. That's a lot of just physical distance between you and first place on the restart. So they want to tighten some of that up. Make it a little bit more competitive for maybe some people that have some bad luck and get knocked around a little bit in the first half and kind of give everybody a fair shake.
Yeah, I remember when they first started doing this mandatory competition caution. I just loved every minute of it. I mean, you talk about people starting in 18th, 19th spot here in the 1600 light buggy rather than starting up front. It's like, man, give the guy a break. What we're doing here in 2020 is just so many different cool stepping stones here to make the racing better.
Looks like we'll do one more parade lap as we take a look at our leader, Connor Schultz. You know, Brent, one of the longtime supporters of short course racing in the Midwest is Amsoil. You might ask, why would I choose Amsoil synthetic lubricants over their competitors? Well, 3 reasons: power, performance, and protection. Amsoil over-engineers their products to excel where enthusiasts like us here in the off-road world need it the most. So stop by the Amsoil booth or visit amsoil.com for more. And also, if you are joining us here on ground safely, don't forget to sign up for the Top of the Podium giveaway through Rival Motorsports. They're giving away a Can-Am Maverick X3. Just visit the Rival Motorsports pit area to learn how to sign up. The way that'll work is you go to Rival Motorsports, they'll give you a QR code that you can scan on your phone. There's no need to download the app or anything like that. You just scan the QR code. The giveaway is going to end on Halloween this year. And not only can you enter to win that Can-Am Maverick X3, which would be a sweet ride to have for us to get around the pits later on tonight, you can also instantly win prizes. So be sure to enter, and maybe you'll be one of the lucky winners.
Man, you hit that right on the head, that nail. I tell you, it would be nice to have one of those Rival Can-Ms to bring us around to visit all these great race car drivers and teams. And there is so many of them here this weekend. And these classes, I talked about it in the intro to the 1600 light buggy, Shane. And it seems like we always have more and more in this 1600 light buggy class. And over the years, I've gotten to watch it all since I've been a kid. And we've seen years where there's 14, 15 cars, and now we're looking at 25, 30. Now we're up to 38 cars at some events. So cool to see all these race teams come out week in and week out, and we love every minute of it.
And if you're watching at home, 1600 light buggy is actually a really affordable way to get into this class. You're talking 8, 9, 10,000 for a race-ready car, and then extremely affordable to run for the season.
Oh, for sure, it's affordable, so go check these light buggies out. But right now, it's Schultz, Booth, Morcourt, your top three, as they take the green flag. 5 out of 8 laps in the book.
Look at that start by Padnot as he jumped out of line pretty much right away as soon as he could.
Yeah, Padnot didn't waste any time.
Had a great run up the inside, actually got pinched down a little bit and had to check up, unfortunately, but what a great start that he got. So now we're taking a look at Marquardt, still working on Connor Schultz, but to no avail.
Look at that, 2-3 wide, entering that 180 on the exit. Here we go, into those split lanes, heading towards Talladega turn. First, they're gonna go through this little rhythm section. Boy, Schultz, he really cleaned it up, Shane. He's not tame swapping that car. Anytime you're going side to side, you're not moving forward. As Billy Booth now running in the 3rd spot.
Yeah, Booth has his hands full, though, because there's that pesky bright orange car of Stingle all the way up into 4th now.
Yeah, Stingle always creeping his way up through the field, taking every lap, making it count, as there's a 122 of Marquardt going really, really wide. We'll see if he gets a run coming into this little inside.
Yeah, Marquardt did have a bit of a run there on Schultz. Still about 2 or 3 car lengths separating our top 2 here in light buggy.
Yeah, such a cool shot coming in front of the crowd there, down in that little valley. And there we go, the 122. That is Marquardt buttoning up to the back of Schultz with nothing yet.
Yeah, Marquardt's going to roll the dice here and try the outside line through the split lane.
Boy, watch Marquardt exit this rhythm section. Look at this. Nose the tail. Here we go. 122 of Marquardt going to try to get a run, climbing this flyaway.
Up and over the Cooper Tires flyaway they go. Back down toward the bottom of the hill as they head up the Ziegler Cat Hill toward the catapult jump.
Boy, Marquardt, he's about a half a lane chain off coming off that Cooper Tire flyaway jump, and it's going to pay good in his rights there on that exit, but no, man, he can't make it happen.
White flag is out, Brent. 1 lap to go here in the All-Star Performance Light Buggy race. Look at the run again by Marquardt as he goes to the inside.
Marquardt gets a door shut once again by Schultz, and man, that costed him.
Yeah, a little bit of contact. It looked like bumper-to-bumper contact.
Boy, Marquardt, after all those good runs trying to reel in Schultz, now he finds himself about 4 or 5 car lengths behind our leader with less than a lap to go. Going through the split lanes one final time. Is there going to be enough time for the 122, Shane?
Yeah, Marquardt with another strong run here. But pretty smooth through that rhythm section for Schultz. So Connor Schultz, less than a half of a lap to go here in light buggy. Schultz is in control.
Schultz definitely in control, going through Ziegler Cat turn one final time. Going that right left-hander. Nothing in front of Schultz. The 129 is going to set his eyes on the first win of the weekend here in 1600 light buggy.
Marquardt across the line second. Booth is going to be third. So interesting note there in our points battle. Booth entered this race 1 point ahead of Marquardt based on the points they just earned. Marquardt is now going to have a 1 point lead over Booth entering round 6 tomorrow.
Yeah, there's no shortage of good racing here in the 1600 light buggy division. And man, one day you could have the points lead, the next day, hey, you're chasing again. And there's our Toyota ERX Off-Road National 1600 light buggy results with Connor Schultz and a host of others. And we will meet our top 3 right after.
That is for sure. Billy Booth, you know, there was some back and forth with you there. Ultimately, another solid run for you. Were you taking any notes from your last visit here to ERX into this one?
Well, they changed a lot of the track and changed up that whole back section and just kind of threw anything in an array and had to be on the bottom when the first time we were here, and all of a sudden we had to be on the outside, and it took me a while to figure it out. But, man, I get nervous when I get in these championship races. I start swapping stuff that probably shouldn't have been swapped, and Randy went to go in the gear a couple times. So, you know, it is what it is. Had a lot of fun. So I told Connor last night, starting in the pole, he had to win this race, otherwise he's going to be messing up big. So congrats to those guys. Congrats to Tyson. Look forward to the rest of the year. But just got to thank Mud Motor Tear-Offs, Alternate Machine Tool. Everybody helped us out. Greg Dinsmore got us an engine done in 2 weeks so we could have a spare here this weekend. And Ryan Stingel building the trannies, Mike Brew with the chassis, my parents, Mark, Cy, Scott, everybody's helped us this weekend. So thanks a lot.
Well, all things considered, it seems another great run for Billy Booth in third. Tyson Marquardt, unofficially our new points leader here. Big battles you had going out there, some big challenges that you continued to force the issue. Walk me through that second to last lap there as you charged for the lead.
I was charging really hard. I gave him everything I got. I mean, he was pinching me off left and right. I was trying to capitalize, but he had a really good run. I had a lot of fun. I just got to thank HP53, Revolution, MCH, Custom Homes, Craig Huberty, Lena Legend, my brother, Kyle, Petey, my dad for being my spotter, the whole Broken Dirty team, and everyone else. Thank you.
Tyson Marquardt, P2 here this morning in 1600 light buggy, and our winner, Connor Schultz. Connor, a strong start for you, a great run from green to checkered. What did you have to do there as the laps winded down to make it so difficult for Tyson?
I really had to pay attention to my spotter, let me know what lines to take and which split lane to take, because it was pretty hard to tell when you're out there. But obviously the outside ended up being faster, where last race the inside was faster. But I knew I had to run fast laps just to keep these guys from not catching me, and yeah.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank my dad for spotting, my friends Bill Allschwager and Dieter that came out to watch us, and Mikey Vandenhoevel flying Dutchman off-road. My brother Chad Rayford, he couldn't make it in time, but hopefully you saw the race on his phone, and yeah.
A job well done. He's taking gold. That's Connor Schultz here, your winner in 1600 light buggy.
In the world team, we get to cover some of the best racing in the world, and right now on track, Stock Truck is coming up.
Yeah, changing gears now, Brent. Our first truck race of the day, our first full-size truck race of the day, I should say, with our short course karts and mod karts being on track. But this class is fantastic, and I've seen some fast guys that have come into this class over the last couple of years that have kind of raised the stakes, elevated everybody else to a higher level. This class is extremely competitive.
Yeah, very, very competitive. And my twin brother and I, we were able to run this class for multiple seasons. We called it Enduro Truck back in the day because it was an endurance race. To finish first you had to finish. And still to this day, it really seems to be the same strategy, but the trucks are faster, they're built tougher. You see Stan Wood on the inside here in the stock truck division in that Vapor-shaped Chevrolet, and you have to have 2 shocks per wheel. You're limited travel to like 10 inches in the front, 12 inches in the rear, so you do feel these bumps here at ERX. You really have to have your truck set up. You have to work on suspension, the rebound, the compression on these trucks. In the horsepower, it's not all there, so you really have to drive these things.
Yeah, you said it all, Brent. We've got 7 stock trucks here in this Launderville Steel stock truck race here in round number 5. Starting on the pole, the number 599 is Troy Ringelstetter. Alongside him, number 512 is Stan Wood. He won one of the rounds at Lena a couple of weeks ago. Starting in row number 2, TJ Ewart is the number 520. He also was one of the winners at Lena, with Travis Peterson alongside him in the 555. 537 is Eric Sinkowski. 593 is Diesel Shannick. And 515 is your current points leader and defending champion, Colin Wickman.
Well, here we go, Shane. The green flag is about to fly here in stock truck. Stan Wood is going to bring us to the green flag.
Ringelstetter down on the inside of turn 1 is going to take the early race lead, though. And he had Ewart right on his back bumper as they came into turn number 1.
Troy really taking off where he needed to do on this start. Watch as they come into the back of that 180 and taking that lead over Stan Wood. That Vape Escape Chevrolet.
Peterson dives to the inside as well, so Peterson able to get second place away from Ringelstetter. Ringelstetter has a back bumper just plumb full of TJ Ewart, and that number 520 running in fourth. Side by side as they come through the rhythm section into Talladega turn.
Yeah, it looks like Peterson working that inside line, trying to work around in that 555. Climbing that Cooper Tires flyaway, and we're 3 wide, Shane.
Heading towards Ziegler, Cat Hill. Now Ewart looks to the inside. You had Shannick looking outside at Ewart, trying to get around him. Stacked up 2 by 2. It's Ringelstetter, Peterson.
Yeah, Ringelstetter trying to hold on to that second place spot, but right now Stan Wood, he's checked out on the field, no contact.
Yeah, again they went 3 wide for a second, and Shannick paid the price and almost went around. Great battle up near the front of this, I shouldn't say up front, the whole field is in one big battle right now, Brent, here at Launderville Steel Stock Truck. Down the backstretch they go into the hard left-hand hairpin. Ewart on the outside of Ringelstetter, that'd be your battle for third. With Peterson in that 555 running in second, the Calv Shop Chop Ford Chevrolet, excuse me.
Peterson now trying to work his way up towards the front. Look at that lead just in our camera. About 20 car lengths up front. Stan Wood, he's ready here at ERX this weekend.
Yeah, Wood trying to make it 2 in a row here at Launderville Steel Stock Truck. Peterson leads a whole pack of dogs, though, in that battle for second. Ewart is there in third.
Man, Peterson last year, remember, he had a bad crash at Grandin, so it takes a lot of work to get to one of these trucks out on the racetrack week in and week out. Peterson, they're doing what they need to do. Doing a phenomenal job, going a little bit wide there.
Yeah, Peterson's been really consistent this year, too. He's finished third, a couple of fourths and a fifth, and he's third in points entering round number 5 today. He's got Ewart now looking to the inside as they come out of turn 1 and up the hill. Ewart with a run. He's going to be on the outside as they head toward the left-hand hairpin.
Yeah, Peterson takes a spot back, goes to that inside. Watch the inside move.
Yeah, Ewart had the right idea. They got to watch out, though, because Sankowski was our round 1 winner, is in the mix as well.
Peterson still doing a good job going into the rhythm section, headed towards Talladega turn. We have more company on that inside, Shane.
Yeah, there's Sankowski trying to find his way to the front as well as he goes underneath Ewart.
Yeah, Sankowski looked like he was right there. Peterson still shutting the door. Going into the Ziegler Cat turn. Little chicane, you go to right-hander, then you twist it back left. It's so deceiving, though, the hills on this racetrack. The elevation changes are just amazing here at ERX.
Ewart's still having trouble as Sankowski now is up into third. Ewart did a heck of a job fighting off Sankowski for as long as he did.
Yeah, Ewart, he got a little squirrely side by side with another guy, and then he just lost 3-4 car lengths now. And that's the thing about stock trucks, Shane. You really can't afford to make many mistakes. It's a very competitive class. I mean, the motors are pretty much similar. The suspension, like I said, they're running 10 inches in the front, 12 inches in the rear, so it's not that comfortable a ride.
Still looking at our battle for second is now Sankowski trying to run that inside left-hand split lane down in the Talladega turn. Peterson, though, will be able to carry a lot more speed around that high line.
Yeah, Sankowski still holding on to that spot. Here comes Peterson. Peterson going to have that preferred line on the inside if he can get there.
Side by side as they go up Ziegler Cat Hill toward the catapult. Oh, and a little trouble there for Peterson. Just a little bit crossed up at the top of the hill. So he will yield now to Sankowski for the moment. As we have reached our mid-race caution, it is Stan Wood dominant in that first half.
Yeah, the Vape Escape Chevrolet out front, that 512. He had some teething issues with that truck for a couple seasons. You never know when he was going to go up in smoke, but today that truck looks to be on point.
Sankowski was across the line second. Wickman found his way up into third.
All right, we're going to check in with Haley Shanley. What do you have for us, Haley?
Yeah, in Launderville Steel Stock Truck, in 4 rounds so far, we have had 4 different winners, 7 different podium finishers, and currently just 14 points separate our points litter from that leader from that 5th points position in that points championship. Talk about a stacked field. Now Stan Wood, he's out leading. Could this be a repeat win for him this season? Stay tuned to find out. I think he's sitting pretty comfortable right now, but we're going to re-rack him, restack him here for the second half.
Yeah, thank you very much, Haley. And Brent, we were talking about how competitive this class is, and all those numbers Haley just gave us perfectly demonstrate that. 4 different winners through the first 4 rounds. And as she said, Stan Wood trying to be the first repeat winner in stock truck here in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great competition in this stock truck class, and we've seen as many 12, 15 trucks. But today, Stan Wood, he's really putting a statement down in that Vape Escape Chevrolet. If he can keep the wheels underneath him and keep it up on all 4s, I think he can pull this one off. He's very, very quick. A lot of horsepower under the hood of that truck.
Yeah, but he's going to have to fight off Eric Senkowski in second. Now, Senkowski is a rookie here in stock truck, raced 1,600 cars the last couple of years. But Senkowski actually was your round 1 winner here at the ERX Off-Road National about 5 weeks ago. So Senkowski knows what it takes to win here at ERX as well.
Yeah, Senkowski, that's a former TNT truck. They ran that in the super stock truck division. So anytime you try to tone down a truck, I mean, it's never a good thing. But for stock truck, that truck is perfect. As Stan Wood is going to bring them back to the restart flag here as, boy, not losing pace. Stan Wood, he wants to get out of here.
Back to green flag racing here at ERX. It's Wood, Senkowski, Peterson, Wickman, Ewart, your top 5. Peterson looks to the inside of Senkowski as they go through turn 1. Senkowski slams the door. Shanik also running alongside Ewart toward the tail end of the field there. But up front, another great early jump there by Wood.
Yeah, Wood got a little sideways now, collected. He's going to be on the outside of that split lane. Senkowski, he might have that preferred line. Remember, that outside lane coming into the Talladega turn is a long way around. So here comes Senkowski. They're side by side. It looks like Senkowski might take that spot.
Yeah, Wood's going to have a heck of a run on the outside there, and he doesn't have it. So Senkowski will take over the lead from Wood. Tell you what, though, Wood's going to fight back and look to the inside as they go up Ziegler Cat Hill.
Yeah, Wood going to try to go outside, inside. You see that front brake just locked up.
Almost made bumper-to-bumper contact there. Nice clean driving there by Wood to back off.
Senkowski now out front that 537. Clearing that tabletop coming in front of the crowd here in Elk River, Minnesota. Stan Wood, man, now he's fallen back about 4 or 5 car lengths. We'll see if Stan, he can regather his thoughts back up. So keep an eye on the Vape Escape Chevrolet. Maybe some issues, I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe just a little bit better setup, or maybe better tires for the wetter track that we saw in the first half, too. Or maybe the track is just working in a little bit better for Senkowski.
Right, and then you can go back on tire setup and suspension setup. With tires, you can be in a mud terrain or an all-terrain, so it depends on what these guys want to do for their race team. As Senkowski, that 537, coming towards the Cooper Tire flyaway one more time. Going through Ziegler Cat turn, one of my favorite turns here at ERX. Just barely missing that tractor tire.
Yeah, Wood feeling some heat now from Wickman, who is your points leader entering today and your defending class champion. So Wickman definitely knows what it takes to win here in Lauderdale Steel Stock Truck as well. Wood's about to have his hands full.
Yeah, Wickman doing a lot of good things right now for that 515. Watch him, he's getting that preferred line, going on that cushion. If you get sucked up into it too much, you lose 2-3 spots as he did right there on exit.
Yeah, you said it right. There's a cushion there, but if you go a little bit too far, it's really thick, heavy dirt. It's really hard to get forward bite out of it.
Yeah, and with the limited horsepower here in the stock truck class, you really have to hit your marks. You make that mistake, it might take you 2-3 laps to regain that position that you had before.
Wickman went to the left-hand side of the split lane that time, so looking for maybe a smoother line in the Talladega turn. He had a run there, and just bounce and goes up and over the berm, so a little bit of a mistake there by Wickman.
And that's what we were just talking about. The minute you make that mistake, look at the gap that Stan Wood has created on Wickman. As you still see Senkowski now about 10, 12 truck lengths ahead of Stan Wood. So Stan Wood really needs to put his head down and try to catch our race leaders as the white flag is out, this time by one more time around.
It's still Sinkowski about 10 truck lengths ahead of Wood, who's another 10 ahead of Wickman. Our field is kind of spread out a little bit over our second half of this race here in round number 5.
Yeah, Stan Wood, he had a good run going in the beginning parts of this race, but finds himself now in the second place or third place division.
All 3 of our top 3 go in the right lane through the split lane down into that rhythm section.
Man, a lot of camber on Sinkowski's tire there. You see on that left front in our screen, right in the truck. 537 trying to make his way around a couple turns ago. Wood looks like he's really gained a couple spots, but I don't think there's going to be enough time.
Yeah, it's going to take a mistake from Sinkowski at this point. Wood is running out of time. Wickman closing the door on Wood a little bit, but checkered flag is going to come out. ERX Sinkowski will take the win here in round 5. Stole it away from Stan Wood, who will settle for second place. Wickman third. He was closest to Wood at the line there. Diesel Shannon comes back for a 4th place.
Yeah, for sure. Their lap times had to be pretty close throughout today's race, and there it is. The race results: Sinkowski, Wood, Wickman, Ewert, Shanek will round out your top 5. And Ringlesetter, he really did a good job in the beginning parts of this race and just had some problems with that pickup.
Hey.
Thank you so much, Colin Wickman. Yes, you were so close to it there down at the line. It seems like you just ran out of laps. What was it that allowed you to keep such a close pace and keep them honest?
I don't know. I mean, the truck has been fast all year long. We were really fast at Lena, and I couldn't connect very well, and the truck was great. I made a couple of mistakes. I lost radio connection the first half, but we'll take third.
Putting the pieces together, who would you like to thank?
Well, first off, I got to thank my mom and my dad and the whole crew, Launderville Steel for sponsoring the class, Andy Shock Service, ATD Transmission, Baumgart Tire, Fisher Race Engines, Badger Race Wraps, Brian Mullen Motorsports, and I think that's it.
Colin Wickman, our 3rd place finisher here at Launderville Steel Stock Truck. Stan Wood, a very strong start to the race for you and throughout. Tell me about how grueling it is to be able to continue to force the issue here in the stock truck.
I really enjoy it. I think it's a great class. It's grown a lot. It's good to see the younger guys, new guys coming in. I've been doing it for like 4 years now, and we've turned out good. We had a lot of issues over the years, but we're trying to put her back together. We're doing good.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Launderville, ERX, Park River for bringing it here, Rod End Supply, Bill, Andy's Shocks, Corey's Crank and Nails, Starzers, Repair Out of Crivets, friends and family for helping out. We'd never be able to do it.
A solid run. Stan Wood in second. And rookie ERX Sinkowski, our first repeat winner. You came out swinging this year in the opening round with a win. So what is it about ERX Motor Park for you?
It's a fast track. It's a technical track. It's all the above, and it's loamy. It's fast. It's just a fun one to go around. You can get some speed, and I was really actually nervous. We had some setbacks back at the shop, and that's why this one's really cool for me to win this one. And my parents are here, and that's so cool. Sorry.
Who would you like to thank?
I gotta thank Point Ironworks, Shock Andy, OCD Graphics. My niece and nephew are here. Number one, my mom and dad, they worked really hard to get me in this stuff, so thank you guys.
A big win and an emotional one for our winner, ERX Sinkowski in the Launderville Steel Stock Truck, guys.
Wilson will start on the pole in the number 341. Bo Ambos alongside him in the O-Snap Pickling Company, number 388. Steph Peitels in the number 344. Luke Alcock's driving today, the number 336. Colton Burns is here in the 307. He's from Bailey's Harbor, Wisconsin. Thomas Trelstad from Litchfield, Minnesota, the number 305. Alongside, or behind him, Travis Trellstad, the number 380. Jeff Baczynski's the 324. Dylan Parsons is the number 319. Greg Peitel is the number 300. John Fitzgerald is the number 312. And Billy Booth is number 351.
Well, the green flag is flowing here in 1600 single buggy and not wasting any time. That is the 341 of Jake Nelson. Different colors on that car this weekend.
Yeah, it's only his second weekend in 1600, so he moved up from light buggy.
You know, I'm always used to seeing that different color paint scheme, so Jake Nelson not wasting any time.
Yeah, look at get out there in that Metz plumbing machine. Anbo is also starting on the front row. He will stay up near the front. Alcox with a good early run as well.
Yeah, Alcox right there coming into the split lanes now in the Talladega turn. Cars are gaining a lot more speed than you've seen in the light buggy division. Two different lines there. We'll tell the fans at home it's a lot different than when we came here in the spring.
Yeah, they extended that split lane. Basically, the split lane doesn't end until you're coming out of Talladega turn now, so they basically doubled the length of that split lane.
Yeah, and once you commit, you have to stay on one side or the other as we come through the Ziegler Cat turn. Heading by what will be the finish line. We have a couple cars side by side for a second.
Alcox and the 305 of Thomas Trellstad went side by side. One of the two Trellstads out there, both from nearby in Minnesota. Alcox in that 336 car, him and his brother split the seat. His brother Ben driving half the time and Luke drives the other half of the time. We've been working on developing a race program, so this is a good showing for them as well, as Trellstad bouncing off the dirt birds there going through the split lane.
Yeah, Trellstad trying to use every piece of real estate he can to move towards the front.
Yeah, well, look who's behind him, though. That's that 351 of Billy Booth, who crossed over through the rhythm section.
Wow, just sithering back and forth, seesaw that wheel. There's the 351 trying to make that wide line, makes a little contact.
That's scary wheel-to-wheel contact there at high speed.
Look at Billy Booth trying to go outside, inside.
Oh, looks like we had a drone down there, Brent.
Looked like the drone might have touched one of our buggy competitors. That might have been Billy Booth. Getting a little too close.
Yeah, we're still okay.
Flip around. Now clear on our view. Here comes Billy Booth once again coming into that little downside in that little chicane. Such a big valley down there. It's really hard to see. We talk about vision. You can't see when you're entering and exiting these turns.
The hills coming into turn one, you're blind coming into turn one, and then as you accelerate out of the turn, it's another blind hill. As we see Alcox with a power move on Nelson. Alcox is going to take over the race lead. He's in line to get his first ever win here in short course racing.
Yeah, Alcox, he was right there, and he pounds on that top spot. It looked like Billy Booth, when he came in, he hit the rear brake, and it kind of stubbed the motor a little bit. So see if Billy Booth can reclaim that spot as he gets a good run coming towards Cooper Tire Hill once again.
Nelson's still hanging strong there in third, as Trellstad has fallen back to fourth. It looks like he may have Parsons right in his rear view mirror.
Wow, Booth coming through Ziegler Cat turn, had to get hard on the binders, had nowhere to go.
Another lap in the books. It is Alcox, your surprising leader here over Billy Booth. Tell you what though, Alcox is doing everything correctly so far.
Yeah,
no major mistakes yet.
Yeah, for sure. Don't take nothing away. Alcox is all over Billy Booth. They're side by side coming in that 180. And man, just out braking Alcox is Billy Booth. And Alcox climbs on that inside berm. That scrubbed a lot of speed.
Yeah, that mistake is going to yield the lead completely now to Booth, who's about 15 or 20 car lengths ahead of Alcox, with Nelson still running strong up there in third.
I talked about Billy Booth when we came here a couple of weekends ago. He was really working on that car. They didn't really know what was going wrong, but it's so cool to watch these drivers. A lot of drivers are hands-on with their own equipment. I mean, a lot of these pro teams, they have 5, 6 guys that work on the truck day in and day out, but Billy Booth and his father, they're right there. They're wrenching on it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the whole team for Billy Booth at some of these events.
And I always like that as a race car driver. You want to know what your car is doing. You can set up and have the best setup of the world, but you still have to go out and drive it. And if you have no clue what's going on, it makes it that much more difficult as we come to the mandatory competition caution that time by, Shane.
Yeah, and I'm looking at our scoring and timing, and it shows that Nelson got around Alcox.
Oh, we got action down in the pits. Looks like Johnny Fitzgerald, a left front flat.
Yeah, Fitz got tangled up a little bit on the start, so may have suffered a flat tire at that point.
Yeah, Johnny Fitzgerald, you see the smoke coming out of that exhaust, trying to keep it running.
All right, we've got Haley Shanley trackside. Haley, what's going on down there?
I want to talk to you about Dylan Parsons. Last time we saw him here, he was the winner in round 2. That came just after a second place finish in the opening round. He's been on the podium 3 of 4 times so far this season and currently tied for 4th in the points championship with 170. The Fond du Lac, Wisconsin runner, he's looking to rebound after his performance in round 4. So far, it looks like he's sitting just outside the top 3 here, but don't rule this guy out.
Yeah, thank you, Haley. Dylan Parsons, since coming into the 1600 class a couple of years ago, has steadily progressed and gotten a little bit faster year over year, and now has started to pick up some wins. So we'll look for him to get back up near the front of this points battle, as well as near the battle that's going on out on track right now.
It's so crazy to see Johnny Fitzgerald sitting in pit lane. I mean, left front flat, sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, but we always see Johnny, he's up front. He wants to win time and time again, and Bruce Fraley put him in that car for a reason, because he's just a bad, fast race car driver. And yeah, speaking of fast, at 351.
Yeah, the bad news for Fitzgerald is great news for Billy Booth, because Fitzgerald came into today 13 points back in second place of Billy Booth. So
hey, you can spread that points lead just a little bit more here after this weekend, or after this round to be exact.
So it's Booth, Alcox, Nelson, Trelstad, Parsons, your top 5, as we're just about ready to go back to green flag racing here in the one-off graphics 1600.
Look at
more trouble for Fitzgerald.
Yeah, we've seen steam coming out of Fitzgerald, but here's Billy Booth going to take the green flag once again after the halfway point. We'll see if Billy Booth can keep it together. And it's so important to be out front, Shane. You have a clear vision. You don't have to run through tear-offs in this really heavy, loamy dirt at ERX. He can just visualize what he wants to go and pick the right spot and stay out front. It looks like he got through that 180 pretty clean.
There's a look at Nelson trying to work on the back bumper of Alcox. Both of those cars choosing the right lane through the split lane, while Booth went to the left. See if Nelson can make anything happen here on Alcox.
Boy, Jake Nelson stubbing it into that rhythm section. Alcox doing a wonderful job. He's looking for his first career win.
Looking for his first career podium, in fact, Brent, as he's holding on to second here. Here's Trelstad. Wow, just about caught the rear bumper of Dylan Parsons as they headed up the Ziegler Cat Hill.
You couldn't have fit a piece of paper in between those cars. Parsons got lucky there. Now he's working on Nelson. Does a nice slide job in the fast line.
That's going to move Parsons up into third, and he will look up ahead to Alcox.
Billy Booth still out front. Parsons, Nelson, Alcox, and Burns your top 5.
They head back down towards that left-hander. That's going to be Trelstad, number 305, working on Nelson.
Boy, Jake Nelson really having a hard time rotating that car in that 180 in the 341. Just trying to clean up his laps. I mean, we're talking a matter of a couple seconds here in between different cars, and you have to put it all together to be a fast race car driver here at ERX. Alcox going a long way around. Here comes Parsons. The 319 of Parsons. Reeling in Alcox once again. We'll see if he can make that crossover pass.
Good run up the hill, but trouble for Alcox.
Oh,
he caught a tractor tire and winds up upside down. He pushed way wide coming out of the corner at the bottom of the hill.
You've seen his arms moving. That's a good sign. No harm, no foul. So he's just upside down.
Yeah, Booth is going to be all alone out front now. Parsons up into second. Trelstad is third. Still green flag racing, at least for the moment.
Yeah, we'll have to see when we come back around. Track officials now are trying to get to Alcox. We're going to take another look at it. There's Alcox in the middle part of your screen. He just got up on the berm, hit that tractor tire, and turned it upside down and teeter-totter in that car. Not the way he wanted to end his day. What a great run Alcock's had going for him.
Yeah, we are going to go to a full course yellow here, Brent. Slow everybody down, give these track workers some time to deal with the upside down car of Alcock's.
We look back in the 10th through 12, you see Fitzgerald, he's sitting in their 12 spot, but Pajinski, man, he's usually fast. He's usually right there in that 324, man. He's got a long way to go to reel in that man right there in the 351.
This will give Parsons a clean shot now at Billy Booth on this next restart as well. Then you've got Tom Trelstad, the 305, running in third.
Yeah, lap times look to be similar for our top two drivers. Billy Booth, he looked like he was running a 104.35 that last time by. We look down to Jeff Pajinski, man, he's running 106, so a couple seconds off the pace can be
Yeah, Pajinski's actually up there in the top 5, so his transponder may have not quite registered on the loop at one point, showing as 11th on your screen if you're watching us at home on champoffroad.com. But I assure you, Pajinski is running in 5th on the race course right now.
I don't know, Parsons, he really has to be up on the wheel on this restart. If you're Billy Booth, you just got to keep focusing out front. I'm sure his dad's on the radio telling him his gaps, telling him where the car seems quickest, but I've always seen him run this first couple laps here on that 180 in the back section. He was screwing it up about 2-3 different times right as they're going across on our screen, and it looked like he might have hit the brake a little bit and it stubbed the motor, but now it looks like he has that figured out.
Yeah, honestly, where I'm going to watch Billy Booth is into the rhythm section, into Talladega Turn. He's committed to this outside line this whole race, but we've seen him swap around a little bit there, so maybe an opportunity for Parsons if he can find a smooth, clean line to maybe get a run. Another look at Fitzgerald there for a moment, still showing some smoke. Nelson was having a really strong run in the first half of that race as well. Of course, Nelson is the nephew of, I'll say, the greatest 1600 car racer of all time, Mark Steinhardt, who's won, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 or more world championship rings in 1600 buggies. So if you're going to have a coach and a mentor for 1600 buggy, man, you could do a lot worse than Mark Steinhardt.
No, Mark, he put his time in. He won a lot of trophies over his years. And Dylan Parsons, man, watch that 319. Is there time for him to make that pass on Billy Booth? We're going to be coming to that green flag once again. Billy Booth waiting to take off, and he does. But Parsons, he's stuck right to the back bumper. We'll see. He has to be there in that 180. We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, as they go down through turn 1, looks like Parsons just content to follow Billy Booth up and over the hill.
You really want to try to apex these turns. You don't want to come in too tight. You're going to scrub all your speed. It looks like he hit that perfect. He didn't go in that loamy dirt. He stayed right down a little bit on the blue group and carried his speed. So tire combination really working in his favor right now.
And Booth was about the only car that went all the way to the left lane through the split lane. As Parsons took the right lane and then crossed over in the rhythm section, so a little bit of
I don't know, the 312 Johnny Fitzgerald, he's sitting in there. I don't know, he went into the pit, so we'll have to keep an eye. I don't know if that is his current spot right now, but on our screen,
on the track, he's fourth in the order, so
yeah, he's trying to work his way back up towards the front.
White flag is out. Billy Booth has 1 lap to go here as he tries to extend his points lead in 1600 buggy. Parsons is running out of time as we look at Fitzgerald working on Trelstad.
Fitzgerald side by side with the 305. Trelstad still working that inside. Fitzgerald goes outside going into the split lanes. There's the 305. Fitzgerald on the inside. We'll see who comes out on top. heading into the rhythm section.
As they come down to the Talladega turn, Fitzgerald is on the inside. Brent, I did talk to scoring and timing, though. Fitzgerald is a lap down, so
okay, I figured
basically
that.
running for pride at this point, but putting on one heck of a show as he worked his way up through the entire field after having to change that left front tire.
It's nothing new. We always see Fitzgerald up front. But speaking up front, it's all Billy Booth going to take the checkered flag here in 1600 single buggy. Dylan Parsons will be second. Remember, Johnny Fitzgerald is a lap down, but he'll cross on the track in third.
Yeah, third place will be Thomas Trelstad from Litchfield, Minnesota. I believe that's the first time we've seen him up on the podium here in 2020. So tip of the hat to Trelstad for finding his way up onto the podium. But with Fitzgerald finishing a lap down and Billy Booth came in with a 13-point lead over Fitzgerald, that's going to extend his points lead that much more. And it looks like Billy Booth is the man to beat here in 1600.
Yeah, definitely. He's the man to beat here at the Toyota ERX Off-Road National. Here is our race results in 1600 single buggy. Booth, Parsons, Trelstad, Alcox, Nelson, and Trelstad in the 6th spot to round out our top 7. That'd be the 307 of Burton.
This is a guy who has to be absolutely pumped. John Fitzgerald, wow. How pumped are you to be up here after having had to turn the tides in your favor after pulling into the work area early on?
Yeah, that race was wasn't very pretty. You know, we kind of got tied up on the start and nobody wanted to go, and we kind of played bumper cars, and then we got hooked together, and then everybody was going, and then I think the guy missed a shift back there, and I got a flat, so we came in, got a flat, so got to thank Bruce for giving me an awesome car to drive, the guys in the hot pits getting it done, and all these guys were flying. I just couldn't catch them, so we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks Winter Motorsports for giving me a place to park and their hospitality, and everybody at home, Leslie and the girls, and we tried.
A job well done. John Fitzgerald in third. Dylan Parsons, Dylan, you had some work to do there. What's it taking to be able to move forward on a day like today here at ERX? Obviously, a fast buggy helps.
Yeah, I love this track. We got tangled up on the start there, and we were dead last, John and I, and we had to work our way through, and he got a flat, and I worked my way through. My buddy Luke rolled in front of me, right up almost up on top of me. It was an exciting race, and I just got to Billy late, and I just couldn't stay with him at the end there, the last lap. He has a fast car, and we all do. I'd like to thank Matt Gerald. He's the guy in my ear. My dad, I tweaked my back yesterday somewhere here, and I couldn't even get out of bed this morning, so it felt good in the car, though, so I feel better now. The Kearns, Bergers, M-Tech, Mike Brew, I broke a trailing arm at Leon, he got that all fixed up. Kurt Gerald, and thanks to everyone else. Thank you.
Dylan Parsons, our second place finisher. Billy Booth extending his points lead and logging some serious frequent flyer miles from victory lane here to the podium. Talk to me about how are you finding success here, and how fast do you have to change gears? Do you have time to let those successes sink in between races?
Yeah, the cars are a little different. We get to use power steering here, and we get a lot more gears we get to use. So kind of in play slap, I try to play with it and make sure I got my shift points right and everything handled. So today it helped a lot, having that track time without practice yesterday and the changes on the track. I knew what to be looking for, and it probably took these guys a couple laps. So car's fast, you're flying, that caution, we were gone when that happened. A little frustrated with it, but we still pulled off in the end. So a lot of people to thank, much more tear-offs, Alternative Machine Tool, Dinsmore Racing, all the stuff Greg wrote for us. Ryan Stingle, everybody helps us out again, and ERX for holding this event. Glad to be out with Marker being canceled, so let's do it again tomorrow. I'm happy to be up here, so thanks everybody.
Adding yet another medal to his collection, this is Billy Booth and your one-off graphic 1600 single buggy.
Number 844 is Ben Holcher. In the 851 from Mukwonago, Wisconsin, the Muskego Crane Service truck is Joe Machosik. All the way from Mason, Michigan, the Jeep Super Shop Ford number 873 is Kyle Cooper. And your current points leader from Abrams, Wisconsin, the number 833 is Nick Bing. Starting in the 12th spot from Crandon, the number 803 is Ken Wilson. From Gladstone, Michigan, in the Stewart Manufacturing Ford, number 820, his second weekend in Super Stock Truck, it's Braden Beauchamp. And rounding out your field of 14 trucks, also from Crandon, the number 838 is Charlie Wilson. Brent, I'm looking at our grid, and I'm looking at our trucks on track, and I see that Wildman Willie Freshour is all the way at the back of the field. So I'm wondering if he was sent there by some ruling or something that went on that we're not aware of yet.
Yeah, definitely you don't think that would be by choice.
Yeah, so Shunk's going to be all alone.
Yeah, Wayne Shunk going to take us to the green flag here in Super Stock Truck. Halfway point of the season. Who can take the win here in Elk River, Minnesota already? We have trucks swapping back and forth. Here comes Trey Beauchamp all the way on the outside.
Yeah, Beauchamp made it 3 wide for a minute going on the outside, and he's all the way up into a battle for a second with Wold.
Yeah, Wold, he went a little wide. He allowed Trey Beauchamp to get on the inside. Here comes Ben Holger.
Pretty clean start for the whole field there, Brent.
Yeah, definitely. Ben Holger, he got on the binders and gave Trey Beauchamp about a 2-3 car length gap as they head to the rhythm section. That's Wayne Shunk out front.
Yeah, Shunk this weekend pitting with Kyle Cooper. They've gotten a lot of help from Kyle and his dad, Lee Cooper, getting that truck working like they think it should and reaching its potential. And it's Wayne Shunk out front by about 10 truck lengths right now.
Yeah, Shunk went a little wide through Ziegler Cat turn. He rotates and stays on the bottom. And here comes Ben Holger. Holger trying to run down Trey Beauchamp. And Shane, I had a lot of time in that truck in Ben Holger's ride a couple years back, and I'll tell you, that truck just performs flawlessly. It's a former Mitch Dorr, Jeff Dorr truck. It really knows how to take these jumps in the rhythm sections. You don't have to worry about suspension on that ride. Ben can just focus and go to the front.
Up front right now, though, it is Wayne Shunk in that number 823, another Ford. It's Fords in the top 5 right now as Beauchamp made a little contact. Did a really nice job to stay off of Shunk there, but almost went around as now they're going to go opposite sides of the split lane.
Yeah, Trey Beauchamp, he did a good job in that 180. He just over-rotated just a little too much. So he'll try to get that dialed. Here comes Ben Holger to the outside. Holger trying to go a long way around. He gets a roost full of mud from Trey Beauchamp.
Up front, though, side by side, it's Beauchamp and Shunk. Shunk's going to be on the inside as they go up the hill and then stuck
Shunk
on the outside.
Boy, Shunk made his truck really, really wide. Beauchamp didn't want nothing to do with it. He takes over that top spot.
Yeah, physical defense there by Shunk, but he'll still pay the price and fall down to second, and Holger is still in the mix as well. Another lap in the books. It is Beauchamp, Shunk, Holger, Cooper, Visser, Machosik, Bing.
Trey Beauchamp out front, doing a phenomenal job in that 802. And watch right here, this is where he over-rotated a little too much. He's already backing it in. See, you don't want to do that. You want to try to get that back of the truck rotated early.
He opens the door. Opens the door for Holger. They're going to go side by side on the same right-hand line of the split lane. Holger with the better run.
Ben Holger, there he is. He's out front.
Cooper on the charge as well. Cooper was in the right-hand lane of the split lane, crossed over in the rhythm section. He's going to push his way up into third. Cooper trying to put a move on Beauchamp for second now as they go up the flyway.
Oh, man, a lot of contact. Looked like Braden Beauchamp made a little contact coming into the Talladega turn. Oh, Beauchamp! Beauchamp into the berm. Yeah, there's something locked up on the left front of Braden Beauchamp's ride. Tough break, man. Trey Beauchamp's everywhere.
And look who else is joining the party up near the front. It's Visser all the way up into second from about 5th place a lap ago, trying to run down Ben Holger. Machosik on the outside of Trey Beauchamp as they go through turn 1.
Yeah, Joey Machosik, we're finding it to talk about him a little bit. He's working his way up towards the front. Remember, there's Nick Visser, his son, Race Visser, won earlier on this afternoon. And here comes Machosik. You can't say enough about that kid. Very, very quick. Him and his father, Larry, put a lot of time into that truck, trying to dial it in. And, man, Trey Beauchamp, he's definitely off the pace now.
As Cooper, now look at Cooper putting a fender on the outside of Machosik.
I think we got a caution flag out that time.
Yeah, we're going to a full course yellow as they try to deal with Braden Beauchamp's truck that was stuck down there on the berm between the split lane and the Talladega corner.
There is Ben Holger in that 844.
Feels good to just take a breath after all that. There was a lot going on there. The opening laps of this quick car super stock truck race.
Yeah, definitely a lot of action. Everyone wants to go to the front, and you can't even talk about patience right now in the super stock truck class. Look at the doors just ripped right off of Kyle Cooper's ride. And then you look back at Nick Bing. That truck was beautiful. You've seen it on Instagram and Facebook. He had that thing prime shape. Now there is barely any fiberglass on that machine. All right, we're going to go down, check in with Haley. What do you have for us?
Yeah, just want to check in with the track conditions down here. These super stock trucks, they like to put this dirt to the test, but what's working in our favor today? We have a little bit of cloud cover, some mild temps. That's going to help this dirt retain its moisture better and provide some more grip. So here's what we're working with now. As you can see, this dirt, it's great, not dried out. This all has come into play because of Derek Queen, his track prep crew as well. They decided to cancel practice yesterday, not because of the conditions of the track, but by the time the rain hit last night, they wouldn't have had time to seal this track back up. By that means, they pack it down so that the water can run off, like the precipitation we had last evening. So it's provided a great course today, a very good call by Derek and his team, and we are thankful for it to break that track open this morning and put on a show for us here.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a lot of track work and prep to make things go on here at ERX Motor Park. And the Carlson crew, they doing what they need to do. And you would never have thought after last night I was at dinner just chilling out and you just seen the lightning and the thunder, just heard it booming and all that rain that came down. You're just like, oh, man, I hope it stops. And, I mean, whatever it did last night, it doesn't even show here today.
Yeah, beautiful racing surface right now. And Haley brought up a good point, too, that the conditions are just right for the track to actually retain the moisture that goes into it. And that's actually faster. You don't want a track to dry all the way out because then you lose it in the other direction and the grip goes away.
Yeah, it's got to be a happy medium. You don't want to lose it like you said, and then you just fight it all day, and then you have people complaining, oh, the track wasn't like this. They're trying to make excuses. But right now, this track is in prime shape, and we've seen this in the super stock division all season long, but everyone wants to win. And if you look at our screen and on camera, there's 10 trucks right now from 1st to 10th. Anyone at any given time can take that top spot.
Yeah, we went almost the whole first half of that race, or up until that caution, with barely mentioning Joey Machosik. We almost didn't mention Nick Bing at all, except for talking about him missing some fiberglass. I mean, these are guys we're used to seeing up front, so everybody else seems to have brought their A game here to the Toyota Off-Road National presented by Loop Tech.
Ben Holger on screen right now in that 844, the pace truck. Richie Kuloff has pulled off the side of the track. Keep your eye on Holger. It's Holger, Visser, Joey Machosik, your top three, and Trey Moshaw right there.
Back underway, looked like Holger got the best start of the bunch, actually, Brent. He will continue to lead the field down into turn one.
Here comes Nick Visser, Shane. He's not wasting any time. Watch as he's going to try to set up that outside-inside move on Holger. Watch, he'll try to duck back underneath him right here. He does. Can he make the pass stick?
Nice job by Holger there, waiting till the last moment to rotate the truck. Didn't give Visser quite enough room to make the move that he was trying to make.
Boy, what great exit speed by Ben Holger, and watch as that truck just finesses through that rhythm section. And Visser staying to that bottom side. That's where Braden Boshaw had some issues earlier. Now the track is cleared, man. Ben Holger, he really just needs to stay focused out front. Yeah, Visser's right there, but you just got to keep running that fast line. Just try to run away and hide, and Visser just barely missing that cone.
Yeah, we'll see if Visser maybe wants to play a little bit physical as the laps wear on. Like you said, with everybody in this class so fast and so competitive, you can't wait to make a move. You have to take every opportunity that you're given and try to force the issue sometimes. We see Visser looking to the inside of Holger up the hill.
Side by side, looks like Visser might took over that spot. Watch now as Holger will be in that inside line. Not going to get quite to the bedside. He does, gives him a little love tap.
Yeah, Holger could have really done Visser dirty there and held on to the lead. So nice clean driving there by Holger, knowing that he'd been beat already.
Right, and Holger, he just needs to put his head down. He's got a quick truck. He really knows what he's doing in that 844. Only a couple years behind the wheel, man. He's looking like a veteran.
Visser trying to make it 2 wins in a row here in Superstock after winning in round 4.
Boy, look at our top 4. Looks like you can tie them together with a chain. They're all in lockstep.
Yeah, Machosik pushed wide. Here comes Cooper down to the inside.
Boy, not even making contact.
Yeah, Machosik is not going to give up a spot that easily, though, as they're wheel to wheel over the finish line, jump over the hill into turn 1. Cooper will back off for the moment.
Kyle Cooper trying to hunt down Joey Machosik. Machosik just fast enough to hold on to that position as Visser tiptoeing his way into that 180. And here comes Holzer once again running up on that berm.
All of our top 4 are taking the right-hand lane to the split lane now, so maybe that's where the faster line is for these bigger Sportsman super stock trucks. Although Cooper's crossing over in the rhythm section and get down to the inside of Talladega turn, he's got to run on Machosik, but it's not going to happen there. I think Cooper's going to have to get Machosik up here on Ziegler Cat Hill.
Yeah, he really needs to put it together. He try to go outside, inside, but if it's not there, there's nothing to capitalize on. Right now, look at it's Visser, Holger, Machosik, and Cooper, your top 4. Any little bit of a mistake, though, Shane, anybody can capitalize. And as you look at Visser now, that Parsons Chevrolet still out front.
Machosik still putting all kinds of pressure on Ben Holcher as they go through turn 1 and up the hill, down the backstretch.
Watch Holger as he comes into this 180. He's trying to tap the brake a little bit. See, you're not rotating it early enough. It's giving Machosik that much more ground on him as they all go to that outside once again on the split lanes.
Yeah, Holcher's got to watch out here because one small mistake, it's going to cost him 2 spots because Cooper is right on Machosik's back bumper.
Yeah, Cooper, he's going outside, he's going inside, he's trying everything here in Elk River. Joey Machosik, he's still holding on that position, but not reeling in Holger much. Holger coming into Ziegler Cat Turn, going through that little chicane, one of my favorite parts here at ERX Motor Park, going down that downside. And man, if Machosik wants a shot at this thing, time is running out.
White flag for Nick Visser as he leads the field in super stock truck. This battle for second still has a long way to go, Brent. It's Holger, Machosik, Cooper running 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, Holger, he's running really, really clean right here. He has to clean it up a little bit in this 180. If you're Holger, you got to be patient. You really got to hit your mark. Just let the truck flow out. You can't go too slow through there as Machosik. It's not over yet for that 3rd place spot.
Machosik's going to try the left lane, trying something different here on our final lap. It's a little bit slower on entry when you go to the left-hand side.
Machosik now going to that inside. We watch him go to the outside the last couple laps. Is there enough time? And Holger goes a little bit wide. And here comes Cooper once again, Shane.
Yeah, bumper to bumper as they head to the bottom of Ziegler Cat Hill. Up front, it's Visser. But Cooper still working on Machosik. 1 corner to go.
Yeah, definitely time has ran out. The Parsons Chevrolet, the 880, is going to take your win this afternoon. And then it's going to be Ben Holger and Joey Machosik rounding out your final podium spot. And man, what great competition in super stock truck.
Yeah, Cooper had so many chances to force the issue there on Machosik, but Cooper likes to tell us all the time that's not his way. He's always out there to be as clean as possible first, and then the speed will come to him as we take a look once again at our results. Visser, 2nd win in a row, so he's building up a little bit of...
Absolutely, our 3rd place finisher amid a 3-way battle for the points lead. Something interesting happened there towards the end. You changed up your line. What was the strategy behind that?
Try to catch him. I messed up on my jetting going in today. I didn't really have nothing for these guys, but I beat the 2 points leaders, so I should be in first now. That was pretty hectic at the beginning. There's people all over. You're just trying to survive, basically. I just want to give a big shout out to my pops, my grandpa, we miss you. All Safe Fire Equipment, Yokohama Tires, and Muskego Crane Service.
Joe Machosik, our 3rd place finisher here in Super Stock Truck. Ben Holcher putting the pieces together for good, clean racing. How much fun was that one?
A lot of fun. Way too much.
Tell me more about it. How were things from your perspective?
The track was awesome. Hot, but other than that, it was just awesome.
Who would you like to thank?
My wife, Holter Brothers, Nick Holter Construction, all my friends and family that put in all the hard work and help to get us out here.
Congratulations, Ben Holter, our second place finisher. And Nick Visser, a dominant performance in this round. How did you manage to get it done?
I can't thank my crew enough. They do a lot, and they travel. All the travel we've done this year, and just the countless hours. We just keep pushing on this truck and try to make it better. And all I can do is be more consistent as a driver to show them my appreciation for all the work that they do for me and all my sponsors and my family. And you know, it's really grown the last few years that all the people, there's people out of everywhere I see, I have no idea who they are, and they come up, they know me, and they always give me high fives, and it's just a cool feeling getting to be that way, you know, seeing on TV and all that. And my son he won earlier, but you got to take it away from him for a rough drive, and that was a pretty up and down morning for us, but I'm glad we could finish the day off on a high note and keep her going for the rest of the season.
But Nick and the Visser family, the speed has been there today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for your quick car super stock truck field.
Tridell Champlin. 13 is Christine Bone. Number 5 is Pedro Hanowitz. 16 is Dustin DeGrand. The number 17 is Stacy Boucher. The number 65 is Bryce Carlson. And rounding out your field of 33 cars is the number 77 of Matt Dale. 33 cars in this one, Brent.
33
We're going to see some action.
Coming to the green flag, this time by the halfway point of the season.
Green flag. Power Sports 1 More UTV is underway with the number 58 of Borschinger out to the early lead over the 12 of Chase Cleast. Kearns. And then you got Letourneau and Henches side by side of those two Arctic Cats running 4th and 5th.
Not wasting any time. That is the 58 from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Buschinger well out in front already, going through the split lanes, the top and bottom side. A big berm in the middle. So once you're committed, Shane, you know you can't go back and forth as they enter into this rhythm section. Looks like Letourneau.
Yeah, that was Henches on the outside, getting a little bit crossed up for the rhythm section. We're going to have a three-way battle for the lead here on lap number 1 as Kearns has joined the battle as well. Kearns looks to the outside of Henches. Not a lot of traction if you go off the race line there at the bottom of Ziegler Cat Hill, though.
Yeah, not a lot of room as they're going down in that little chicane, headed back what will be the finish line here at ERX Motor Park. Track really starting to dry out nicely.
Look at that nice full field coming through the final corner there. As we look back up front, it's still Borschinger at number 58 Yamaha with Henches in second in the Arctic Cat. Henches now looking to the outside in the hairpin.
Henches trying to go the long way around. Is he going to be able to make that pass stick? He's on the outside of the rhythm, going into that rhythm section in the split lanes. And man, he's just powering right by our leader.
Yeah, great forward drive there by Henches, and he will take over this race lead here on lap number 2. 1 lap complete here out of 8 scheduled laps unless they get timed out. Up and over the Cooper Tires Flyway.
Boy, Henches holding up with about a 2-3 car length gap going into Ziegler Cat turn. Going in a little too tight there on the bottom, and it pushes you out into that loamy soil, not where you want to be.
Yeah, Henches started all the way back in the 3rd row, so a great early run here by Henches to make his way to the front. Borschinger not going away, but not quite close enough to really put pressure on Henches. And you've got Kearns in 3rd, Hilgard is 4th.
And you notice, Shane, Buschinger, look at, he's throwing out a little bit of smoke out of the exhaust, so maybe some mechanical problems going down on that 58 ride. Still seems to have full power. As we look at Kearns starting to come in our screen.
Yeah, Kearns is there in 3rd. Still still keeping things interesting with Borschinger as they come out of the split lane. And that's Bushmaker in fourth. I called Hilgard before, but Bushmaker is up there in the top 4 as well.
Yeah, Trevor Bushmaker, he's been behind the wheel for a long, long time now, and he's really figured out that car. He knows how to drive that number 3 ride as he's creeping into our top 3. Still Hedges in that 15, Artie Cat out front. Bushinger not going away as you see a little, I don't know, maybe a fiberglass panel coming off the back side of one of our cars. They had to straddle that coming down into that little valley.
Yeah, out front it's still Hedges and Borschinger. Tell you what, Kern's falling back a little bit, so our top 2, definitely the fastest 2 cars in the field. As Kearns now has his hands full with Bushmaker as they go through the hairpin, and behind them it's bumper-to-bumper traffic.
Yeah, for sure. And look at that smoke still coming out of the back of the 58 ride. As you watch him come through that rhythm section, both of them going really, really wide. As here comes Bushmaker in that number 3.
Yeah, he's got his hands full with Letourneau. That would be your battle for third, so a charge there by Letourneau. That's the first time we've mentioned him, and he's all the way up into the top 4.
Yeah, here comes Letourneau. Letourneau all over the back door of Bushmaker. He had to get hard on the binders. Now he's on that preferred inside line. Just can't get to the bedside.
Yeah, that's the best battle on the race course right now as we have reached our mid-race caution.
Halfway done with this race here, and it's all Hedges in that number 15.
Yeah, Hedges made a nice charge to the front, made some clean passes. But our third member of our team, Haley Shanley, is trackside. Haley, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. This week on the Champ Off-Road podcast presented by Amsoil, I was actually able to catch up with one of our Sportsmen UTV drivers, Gray Ledbetter. 2 years ago, she ran her first race under the leadership of Johnny and CJ Greaves, where driver development has been her main focus. Now, she's a driver who comes to us with a wide breadth of experience in motorsports. She's raced professional rallycross as well as mini outlaws, go-karts, and motocross, and enjoys anything with a motor, really. Did I mention she is just 15 years of age? The future is so bright for this young gun. You can catch the entire episode and more at champoffroad.com. New episodes drop Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Central, so watch for Gray Ledbetter in this second half. I believe, if timing and scoring serves me correctly, she should be inside the top 10.
Yeah, you're right, Haley. She is now on our screen in the 8th spot. So Gray Ledbetter doing what she needs to do to get in that top 10, and she just keeps picking away weekend after weekend. And I know she was up by my neck of the woods by Bark River. She was actually running a sprint car a couple weekends ago. So she's trying to drive just about anything to get better. Anytime you can get in any car and get more seat time, it makes your program go a little bit easier throughout your career.
Yeah, there's a saying in racing, there's no replacement for displacement, meaning more horsepower, but the other thing that you can't replace and you can't fake is seat time. You just have to put in the hours, find every opportunity you can to drive anything with wheels on it. As Haley said, she comes from rallycross and motocross and a whole bunch of different disciplines of racing, and starting to pay off. And again, she's only 15, so great racing career ahead of her for sure.
Yeah, she's doing a wonderful job. So we'll see if Gray Ledbetter can work that 28 up towards the front. Again, there's Hedges in our top spot in that number 15 Artie Cat Speedworks ride. But what a good run by Buschinger. He's still sitting there in second spot. Totally different cars. Look at how high that car was built up. And then you look at the Artie Cats, they're more of a low profile ride. So
yeah, different,
throwing anything at the table.
Drastically different tire sizes as well, so a lot of different directions that these teams can go with setting up these cars, but none of them really stands out as a better setup. A lot of these guys are so fast. We saw some great competitive racing in that first half of this one. And for this one, as we saw in Light Buggy, Brent, we're going to do our Delaware-style restart where Hentges will be all alone on that front row, and then the rest of the field will be 2 by 2 behind him. So that's going to let Bushmaker, at least for a minute here, pull up alongside Borschinger.
Yeah, Bushmaker, he really has to be on the throttle on this restart because you remember in that first turn, he's going to be on the outside. So if he wants to get around Buschinger, he really has to get on the loud pedal. Let's see. The green flag back out. It's still Hedges up front. He really pulled a little bit of a gap on that restart.
Yeah, Borschinger able to slam the door right away on Bushmaker. Now you've got Letourneau forcing the issue alongside Bushmaker, and Letourneau now into the top 3.
Yeah, Letourneau moved him out of the way, and here he comes. He's coming on the inside of Bushinger, and he makes the pass stick now. And look at it, looked like number 3 of Bushmaker clearing that spot as well. So a totally different second and third place position right now going on. Letourneau going to try to hunt down his teammate.
As they go through Talladega turn. Uh-oh, someone lost a wheel, and who was that? That is Mike Letourneau that lost the wheel.
Yeah, Letourneau lost the right front tire. Still under power, but definitely going to have some issues.
Yeah, I think the car decided for him that he was going to take that access road off the track there. So tough break for Letourneau. Wow, he showed so much speed for that half a lap after the restart. But back up front, it's the Speedworks Arctic Cat of Henches.
We're going to take another look at it again, Shane, and watch. On the top part of your screen. Yeah, just got into that berm there. Yeah, I don't know, maybe got into the berm too hard there coming out of the split lane. So his day looks to be done. Back up front, it looks like Bushmaker now in the second place spot. That's the number 7 of Hilgard. Remember, we were talking about Ledbetter. She has now moved up a couple different spots as Marquardt in the number 7th place position in the 22.
Yeah, good look there at Hilgard. He entered today, I believe, 3rd in points. Only 4 points behind Dylan Marquardt. We haven't talked about Marquardt at all. In fact, I can't even see him out there on the track, so Marquardt not having an ideal day at all.
Yeah, Marquardt really not where he wants to be. There's Bear. Bear in that 5th place spot, now working his way into the top 5. Going by what will be the finish line. A nice, cool drone shot overhead here at ERX Motor Park.
Yeah, Bear up in the top 5. There's Marquardt all the way back in 6th, so looks like his points lead will at least end for the time being after today's race. Back up front, we're watching Bushmaker try to reel in the 15 of Henches.
Yeah, Bushmaker doing a fine job. Once again, there's a 58 of Bushinger again. Back up front, Hedges in that 15. Arctic Cat ride, Speedworks on board, just finessing that throttle, trying to carry as much speed as he can up this incline at the Cooper Tire Flyaway.
Yeah, it's all Henches up front right now. He must have found the secret sauce somewhere, Brent, because nobody else in this huge field has anything for him.
Hedges still out front, 1.7-second lead. And it looks like we'll be coming by the white flag, that time by the 15. Hedges, one more lap around as he goes down in that valley. As we look on board, you can just see how wide the entries and exits are here at ERX Motor Park, going back in towards that 180.
Brent, I spoke out of turn a little while ago that Marquardt is up in the top 5 now, so as we said, Borschinger showing a ton of smoke out of that Yamaha.
Yeah, Borschinger, he's really having a tough time. I don't know, maybe he can make this final lap, but here comes Bushmaker in that number 3, going towards the Cooper Tire Flyaway one final time.
Hilgard went down to the inside of Borschinger there too, coming out of Talladega turn. Looks like, well, they're going to be side by side as they go towards Ziegler Cat Hill.
Ton of smoke coming out of Borschinger in that 58. He's got the outside. He's riding a bicycle. Sent it back down, and someone lost a tire. That's Bushmaker.
Trouble for him. Checkered flag is out.
One turn to go.
Henches will take the win here at Sportsmen side by side. Then it's Hilgard second, Marquardt all the way up to 3rd with a huge tangle there. Cars splitting those guys left and right. That's Borschinger, so tough break for him.
Wow.
Borschinger and Bushmaker across the line, tangled up together.
You see that right rear off the Bushmaker's car. He just came off through the Ziegler Cat turn. I think he just landed on that right side on the right rear and just sheared that thing off. But right now, it was all Hedges. Those cars are still tangled.
Yeah, and kind of lost in the shuffle there, Brent. Marquardt found his way all the way up into 3rd as they went across the line. So basically out of nowhere, Marquardt found his way into the top 3.
Yeah, definitely Hedges taking that win. There is your Toyota ERX.
Absolutely. Looking forward to catching up with these gentlemen. Starting out with Dylan Marquardt. Dylan, it kind of seems like you came out of nowhere, but then I know there was so much more to that story. So what did it take for you to move forward as much as you did in that one?
So I guess we started 12th, leading in points. Got up to 10th by the halfway. I was a little nervous there, but I don't know, just started picking good lines, was running fast. Kyle was in my ear just telling me where to go, when to do it, when not to screw up. So big thanks to him. Couldn't do it without my whole team, Broken Dirty Motorsports. They helped me with everything. I always miss my crew guys, Edo, Zippy, Craig, Dylan, my dad, behind the scenes, my mom, Gina, everybody else on the team, Marker Custom Homes, Craig Huberty, the Lena Legend, Revolution Industrial Services, KGB Customs, Grape Transport, Grape Trucking, MT Electric, Wisconsin Pella Windows and Doors, Power Sports One, class sponsor, and everybody else. Just thank you very much.
A true team effort and a great weekend so far for Dylan and his brother Tyson Marquardt. Aaron Hilgart, last lap drama. You know, at the very end there, it looked like the driver in front of you lost a tire. So speak to just how much you had to be on your toes there and able to react and garner a second place finish.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I said, I started 10th place, and then about the third lap in the race, I put a hole in my radiator and started overheating, and it just kept losing power and power every lap. And then, yeah, it kind of came down to me and Trevor, and unfortunately lost a tire there, and I got by him on the last corner. And I knew Dylan was right on my rear end. So, but yeah, we got her through, and I guess we'll have to take her back and see what's all wrong with it.
Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank Race Driven, Power Sports One, Norwegian Ways Builders, Sinstock Motorsports, KGB Customs. They've been great with us, helping us set up the car. And Mom and Dad, my family's out here, White John. So, yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone.
Congratulations. Aaron
Thank
Hilgart,
you.
our second place finisher with silver. And Johnny Henches for the Speedworks Arctic Cat. This car was an absolute rocket ship today. You met your marks. What were they, and how did you rise to the occasion?
Yeah, I mean, it was just working. Everything about it just clicked from the start. I was just running my own race, and it really worked well.
Now, just a month ago, you ran your first few laps here around ERX. How much more comfortable are you feeling now in contrast to a month ago?
A lot more comfortable. I had my first race about a month ago in off-road here and had about 3 laps of practice, and we went racing. So, yeah, no, I'm definitely getting comfortable. These Speedworks Arctic Cats are very, very fast machines. I'd like to thank them, obviously, my wife, my kids, my parents. I got a lot of friends and family here this weekend. SM Henches Racing. I just want to say thanks to everyone. It takes everybody.
Congratulations, Johnny Henches. Let's get loud for Johnny and your Sportsman UTV field.
Sorry.
Round 5, and we are underway. Green flag for the Sportsmen. Side-by-side 170 class as the number 22 of Cody Krantz got a great start and is all the way up into the lead already with Harper Hughes in second.
The race-driven 170s underway, like you said, Shane. We'll see how they file out coming into the back section.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty clean start for this whole field. It'll be Krantz, Harper Hughes in second, and then I believe the 45 of Camden Peitel up into third.
Yeah, Camden Peitel doing a good job already, working her way up. That's number 155.
That's Carson Greco coming all the way from Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona.
Not a lot of power in these cars as they go through the split lane section heading toward Talladega Turn.
Yeah, they do pick up quite a little bit of speed as they go downhill, though. You see,
Wow,
look at
crossing
Greco.
right over. Yeah, Greco not wasting any time going to that inside.
If it was working for the super stocks, it's got to work for the 170 side-by-sides all the same, right? Yeah, Camden Peitel battling, I believe, cousin Ella Holcher. That's the battle for third and fourth as they go up and over the Cooper Tires Flyway. Ella Holcher is your points leader here at 170 side-by-side. And Honestly, it's not even close. She's got a 22-point lead over second place.
Wow, big gap. Greco, it looks like he got around that number 8 ride of Burgess. Greco going down that little downside, going towards what will be the finish line as we go back up in that number 22 car. That is Kranz, Cody Kranz. Really low to the ground in that number 22 Bikeman ride.
Yeah, everything working so far for the Scandia, Minnesota native Kranz. You got Minnesota in first, Arizona second, and Wisconsin in third, so
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Arizona,
a few different states represented here.
Like I said, there's not a lot of power in these cars, so you really have to make every pass stick, carry that momentum as much as you can. But how do you tell such a young kid to carry that speed? Like, try to make your turns as wide as possible. It's not an easy task, as you see the HBI ride.
Yeah, that's the battle for fourth. That's Ella Holter, your points leader, holding off the number 11 of Raymond Deininger. Yeah, Holter's been having an absolutely great season so far here in this race-driven 170 side-by-side class.
Yeah, very fast. Kudos to Race Driven for coming on board this year to sponsor this class. Such a cool stepping stone division. Like I said, there's 18 cars in here. I guarantee you 9, 10 of those cars in the next 3-4 years will be in our other divisions, in the Sportsmen side-by-side, maybe even a light buggy, a single buggy, whatever they choose to do.
Look at that, almost 3 wide as they go down the flyway. That's Hughes on the right of your screen, on the left on the racetrack. And Hughes able to slam the door, so great driving there by Harper Hughes as she is holding off Ella Holcher and Raymond Deininger here.
Yeah, Ella Holcher trying to make that car get pushed out a little bit. There's a 22, Kranz.
Still a great battle going on. Hughes has her hands full with Ella Holcher right now. Good strong run for Harper Hughes. A couple of second-generation racers will actually Holcher be a third-generation racer here in the Midwest.
Yeah, you see that HBI logo on just about every class here this weekend. So Holger brothers in clinic, they're really doing a lot for the sport. Back at Lena, you talked about them a long time, and it takes a lot to run all these programs, and it's cool to have people to support all these classes.
Absolutely, and there goes Holcher down to the inside and puts the move on Hughes. So Ella Holcher now up into the top 3. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Hughes and Deininger. Deininger was able to gather it back up and stay in front of Hughes.
Yeah, Deininger doing a good job in that number 11, trying to run down Holcher now.
Corbin Wassenberg trying to find his way to the front as well, as he's up into about the top 7 or so. He's second in points behind Holcher.
Holger in that number 40, still holding on to that spot at the top of your screen. Climbing that really steep hill going towards the Cooper Tire flyaway. In that little chicane going to Ziegler Cat turn. Can't imagine how much stress it puts on these little cars climbing these hills. Because it looks like the 22 of Kranz well out in front in that Bikeman ride.
Yeah, he's got about 20 car lengths over Carson Greco. Kranz got a great start. Started in row number 3, but by the exit of turn 1, he was already in the lead. Hasn't looked back since.
Yeah, he's in a different zip code going into that 180 right now. The Bikeman Performance number 22 out front, just tiptoeing his way around that 180 again. Clicking off another lap here at ERX Motor Park.
Yeah, 3 laps in the books now out of 6 scheduled laps. Riding along there with Carson Greco. Yeah, the commitment for the Greco family to come all the way here from Arizona to race with the Champ Off-Road Series. We tip our caps to those guys for sure.
Yeah, it's not an easy travel to come all the way from the other end of the country to make your way to Elk River, Minnesota, but why wouldn't you want to? This track is so beautiful. It's in such prime shape this afternoon. The sun's starting to come back out.
Still the battle for third is Ella Holcher in the number 40 HBI machine, holding off the 11 of Ray Deininger in the race-driven Polaris. That's just about the best battle on the race course, or at least that far forward that we have right now, Brent.
Yeah, Grant's still out front, but Holcher in that number 40 ride still holding on to that third place spot.
Yeah, Holcher trying to make it 5 podium finishes here in the year 2020.
Look at that 14-second lead for Krantz up front in that 22 Bikeman ride. Clicking off laps here at Elk River, Minnesota.
Yeah, it should be 2 laps to go at this point for the race-driven 170 side-by-side class. Ella Holcher still holding on to third place over Deininger, trying to stretch her points lead as we enter the second half of the season.
Holcher has company now. There's the number 11 ride once again. That is Deininger.
Yeah, almost bumper to bumper as they head toward the hairpin.
Couple laps remaining here in the 170s, side by side. Such a long straightaway for these cars going in the split lane, staying on that bottom line. Going into the rhythm section one final time here.
Yeah, Holcher doing a great job not making any mistakes. Like I said, she's been on the podium all 4 rounds already this year, so trying to make it 5 for 5, and in such a big field, that's no small feat.
So anytime you have 18 cars, it's hard. You know, she's not starting up front every day, so every round she gets quicker and quicker, and to hold on to that big of a points lead. I mean, France is out front, far, far away, but she's doing what she needs to do.
White flag is out, so one more tour around this ERX Motor Park facility for Cody Krantz. He is cruising right now with about a 6.5 second lead over Carson Greco. Battle for third still has to be settled here between Holcher, who has opened up a little bit more space, over Deininger.
Yeah, she did. She opened up a little bit of a gap here on the white flag coming up this time by. Section in front of the crowd down in that valley, climbing that big steep hill, going in the back section for these Razor 170s. Again, Race Driven, a proud sponsor of this class this weekend.
Deininger, excuse me, has a run on Holcher as they go into the left-hand hairpin. Able to find a little bit more speed than Holcher as they go down that straightaway.
Yeah, Holger, not much time left, so we'll see. That number 40 HBI ride still out in front of the number 11 of Deininger.
Yeah, just a couple more corners to go. Just under half a lap to go in that battle. You see him come through that rhythm section. Back out front, though, we haven't gotten much chance to talk about him because he's just been out front all alone. Cody Krantz has been dominant today.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about dominant, here it is, Shane. The checkered flag is going to fly for that number 22 Bikeman ride. Krantz going to take that top spot. And like you said, we didn't talk much about him. He was checked out on the field.
Carson Greco will come across the line in second, so making that long haul from Arizona pay off for his family. And Carson Greco racing 170.
Oh, Holger still looks to hold on to that position. We'll see one final time. Heading towards the finish line. And it's going to be Holger taking that spot. Deininger going to come right in a close position right behind that number 11. So a lot of great battles throughout the race weekend, but especially here in the Razor 170, sponsored by Race Driven.
The 44 of Colin Peitel will round out the top 5, and it's Harper Hughes 6th. Wassenberg is 7th. Camden Peitel is 8th. So good showing for all the HBI cars, the Holcher and Peitel.
It really is for me as well. Ella Holcher, you're extending your points lead. Tell me, what was it taking in that one to defend your line and hold off our 4th place finisher like you did?
I don't know.
Well, at this point, you know, you're leading the points, you're extending that lead. How much are you focused on that point championship, or are you most focused on the race in front of you?
What?
Are you most focused on the current race at hand, or are you at all thinking about that points championship?
The race.
There you go. It seems to be working out. Who would you like to thank for this podium finish?
All my sponsors, my mom, my dad, my grandma and my pa, my grandpa, my Uncle Scotty, my Aunt Steph, and Uncle Craig.
Another strong run for Ella Holcher, our third place finisher here at ERX. Carson Greco, all the way from Arizona. Carson, what do you love about racing here in the Midwest? Obviously, you're finding success.
It keeps me out of school the most.
Not a bad deal. Have you had to put in many hours working on this machine to get it fine-tuned for this race?
Wait, what?
Have you been working on the machine yourself to get ready for the race weekend?
No.
No? Well, a team effort. Who would you like to thank?
I want to thank my mom, my dad, my brother, 2X Motorsports, Bikeman, for performance, and that's it, and Jimmy.
Carson Greco, our second place finisher here in the race-driven side-by-side 170. Cody Kranz, this Bikeman Performance car was a hot rod. This isn't your first win this year. This car has been on rails. Where did you learn to drive like that, though?
Jason.
Jason. Were you aware that you had as big of a lead as you did out there? Who would you like to thank for this dominating win?
My family and Bikeman, Fox, GBC Tires.
Well, congratulations, a big win for Cody Kranz. He's taking gold and the big hardware home. This is your race-driven side-by-side 170 class. Back to you guys.
2 is Ryan Schwalbe. He is from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Also from Rhinelander, the number 56 is Mike Kirkham. In the number 31, he is from Rhinelander as well. It is Mark Air Steiny Steinhardt. And then alongside Steinhardt, currently tied for first in the points. He comes from Orlando, Florida. It's the Sloan's Automotive ride. Number 9 is Mike Hester. Alongside him, the number 66 from Seymour, Wisconsin is Chris Van Adelson. He's also tied for the points lead. And rounding out the field, the number 84 is J.D. Curran.
Here we go, Shane Pro Boggy on track. Remember again, it's the halfway point of the season. Look at Steinhardt. Steinhardt not wasting any time trying to go to the front already.
Yeah, Steiny making moves early on, of course. You remember back to our opening rounds at ERX, and Steiny wound up on his lid as he entered turn 1, so maybe something to keep an eye on. As Brent, we're seeing some dust start to get kicked up in this hairpin.
Yeah, definitely. You see the track workers, they were really prepping this track really nicely. You didn't see a lot of water be put on. They're just waiting for that moisture. I mean, when the moisture stops coming up, yeah, we'll dump a little bit of water here and there. But right now, the track is in prime shape.
Yeah, look at Coughlin out front, build up a little bit of a lead. That's a very experimental car. He's a very engineering-minded person. He's running a CVT in that car. It's a unique setup compared to every other car in the field. Making it work for him right now. He used that front row start to his advantage. Basically putting technology that's never been in off-road racing into an off-road car. He has led lap 1 here in round number 5.
Coughlin doing a good job, like you said, Shane. Running through that little valley down. Here comes Steinhardt in that 31. Van Adelson on his inside. There is the 56. That is Kirkham. Right? Kirkham's still running right there.
Kirkham earned a podium finish last time we were here in ERX as well, so keep an eye on him. Definitely has the right setup for this track. As it looks like Kirkham and Steiny are going to be side by side through the rhythm section.
Yeah, Steiny goes to the bottom side, coming towards Cooper Tire Flyaway. They're going to be headed towards that Zebra Cat turn. Such a cool shot on camera of Steinhardt trying to reel him in. If anybody can find that fast line, it is Steinhardt. Steinhardt is so good at what he does. He knows how to build these cars. He knows how to set them up. He came from the 1600 single buggy class. And as they make contact.
How about that? A physical move. You don't see that a whole lot from Steinhardt. But he's going to make it work. And now Hester is in the mix as well, sitting in fourth.
Yeah,
Kirkham was looking back to the inside, but now he's got a rear view mirror full of Mike Hester.
To go back about Steinhardt, Shane, he really just knows everything about these cars, and it makes him that much better of a driver. He comes in and week in and week out. We talk about Jake Nelson now moving in that single buggy class. What better coaching team that you have is Mark Steinhardt.
Absolutely. Mark Steinhardt's been winning buggy races since the mid-'80s. He's in his fourth decade of being a competitive buggy racer. He won races all over the North American continent. So, I mean, another guy in this field, we take a look as he is now up into third. Mike Hester, he has 96 career wins, so has a chance to maybe cross that 100 threshold here in 2020.
Yeah, for sure. Hester doing a good job trying to work his way up towards the front. Bobbling nowhere to be found in that number 13 ride. Steinhardt, Kirkham.
Yeah, Hester entered today tied with Chris Vandenelsen for the points lead. Actually, our top 6 drivers in this class were separated by 12 points after 4 rounds.
Wow, that is some close competition here in Pro Buggy. There's Hester once again. That blue and yellow ride. You can see Mark Steinhardt just coming for a little split second on their camera as they go into that split lane section. Coughlin, look at that. He's starting to feel some pressure now, I think, by Mark Steinhardt.
Yeah, Steiny's coming on strong here on our third lap. 10 scheduled laps here for the Super Buggies. Up and over the flyway, it's Coughlin. He's got about a 4-car length lead over Steinhardt.
Wow, so much wider of a stance on Mark Steinhardt. Look at Coughlin. He really made a mistake right there going through Ziegler Cat turn. So he's really going to have to start cleaning it up. You can see that Mark Steinhardt's reeling him in. Here comes Steiny. Look at Steiny working that outside. Now he's going to try to cross over. A big run here coming from Mark Steinhardt.
Tell you what though, Steinhardt, he's got to be careful because if he makes a mistake trying to get around Coughlin, he's just going to open up the door for Hester. And we know that when Hester gets out front, he's very tough to get back there.
For sure. Watch Steinhardt. He's going to go to that inside. He'll probably stay to the bottom on the split lane. It does.
Yeah, he does. So Steinhardt's going to set up for the inside run on Coughlin. We'll see. Coughlin's still ahead a little bit, maybe 2 car lengths.
Here comes Hester. Hester on the outside. Going to go the long way around. Steinhardt still on the bottom. They're side by side going to Tire Hill.
Hester will take over second. So just like I said, Steinhardt tried something different, opened the door for Hester. Now Hester will have his sights set on Coughlin up front as we are coming to our competition caution. So
already the halfway point. Oh, Coughlin goes really wide.
At the line, Coughlin holds on, so he will pick up bonus points for leading at halfway. And you can't say enough about Coughlin. I mean, using that front row advantage to his start, sure, but for a car that he built a couple of years ago, basically designed it from the ground up, trying a whole bunch of different experimental things that aren't on any other off-road car basically in the world.
Right, the car just looks totally different from Mark Steinhardt's. You look at the wider stance on Steiny, but just talking about Coughlin, you really have to clean up your laps. You can't afford to make any of those mistakes going in that 180, exiting the split lanes. You really have to be perfect because when you have Steinhardt behind you, there's no room for mistakes.
Absolutely, yeah. Steinhardt's got a couple hands full of World Championship rings and then some from his days in 1600. So he knows as well as anybody how to capitalize on any mistake.
JD Curran in that number 84 back out here at ERX Motor Park again, and you follow him on Instagram and Facebook. They did a lot of work to that car. It was actually in Mikey Vandenhoevel's shop for a while, and
yeah, I had Matt Gerald working on it.
Yeah, you never knew if they were going to come back out here in 2020. So kudos to JD Curran and his whole group of guys that work on that car week in and week out. They're back out here at ERX.
Well, I mean, you talked about Matt Gerald, the name Gerald basically synonymous with buggy racing here in the Midwest. His dad Kurt did it forever, and then Matt was a very successful racer in light buggy and also dipped his toes into 1600 as well.
Yeah, him and his father Kurt, they know just about everything about these buggies, and it's cool how they'll just lead a helping hand to anyone in these buggy classes, and it's never easy to jump into a class. I don't care what you're in, circle track or off-road. You really have to have buddies behind you that will support you to get that fast car out there. But right now, look at that, the number 13. That's Coughlin going to take us to this restart. Halfway point of this Pro Buggy race. Can Steinhardt and Hester spoil the day on Coughlin?
Coughlin going for win number 1 in his career. Hester going for win number 97. Let's see how this one shakes out.
Here comes Hester. Steinhardt not leaving the back bumper of Hester. We'll see where they go. Steinhardt staying a little bit wider, going to try to duck underneath both of them. Just not there.
Here comes Chris Vandenelsen too. It looks like he was, well, he almost got around Kirkham. Vandenelsen is tied with Hester.
Here comes Hester. Here comes Hester. Sorry, Shane, but Hester's all over Coughlin. Goes to that bottom side line, taking over that top spot.
Hester just had a tremendous run coming out of that rhythm section. Now let's see if Coughlin can collect himself a little bit here, take a deep breath.
Yeah, he really does.
Dialed back in here.
Yeah, he has to study Hester. He knows he was fast to lead this race, but right now you just have to button up to your leader. You have to figure out where he is quicker than you, but right now, Hester, he's just leaving this place.
Yeah, Hester's showing a lot of speed. You see Vandenelsen there in 4th.
And Chris Vandenelsen
finding his way to the front. He's just been consistent. He hasn't won a race this year, but entered tied with Hester, who had 2 wins. So on the merit of just strong finishes every single round, Vandenelsen definitely in the thick of the points chase.
You can actually hear them shifting in and out of that throttle in that 180 turn. And here comes Mark Steinhardt. Coughlin going to have a tough time defending off Marky Steinhardt. And there he goes through the rhythm section. Going to stay in that bottom line.
Coughlin's going to run the high side, try to carry that speed around the outside, side by side as they go up the Broadway. Look at the run by Coughlin.
Wow, Coughlin's like, I can make this outside line work, and watch Steinhardt.
Slams the door.
Yes.
Coughlin is just having an absolutely tremendous run today, Brent.
Yeah, Coughlin doing a fine job in that number 13. Here comes Steinhardt again. Coughlin out that sandy soil.
2 laps to go this time. Coughlin still with the back bumper full of Mark Steinhardt. Here comes Vandenelsen into the mix as well.
We talk a lot about how you set up these turns. Sometimes you have to set them up a couple laps prior to your pass. And watch this Steinhardt. He's going to go in really, really wide and try to sneak underneath Coughlin on exit and see if he can get it rotated.
Yeah, Coughlin did a nice job of protecting the inside there.
Just not enough. Here comes Vandenelsen. Vandenelsen now showing in our picture.
Yeah,
he loves to see this. He loves to see this battle.
Absolutely. And Steinhardt again is going to nose ahead of Coughlin. But we saw this happen last two. Coughlin gets this great run on the outside. That time Coughlin looked like he pushed a little bit too wide into the soft stuff. So finally Steinhardt able to come up into 3rd.
Yeah, we'll have to see now that Steinhardt has some clean air. He'll have to start rubbing off some laps now. We'll see if that 31 ride can reel in our leaders. Here comes Vandenelsen.
Vandenelsen pushing to the inside of Coughlin. So Vandenelsen has found his way up into the top 3. We'll have his sight set on Mark Steinhardt.
Yeah, Chris Vandenelsen now into your 3rd place spot. Steinhardt in 2nd.
We talked about the engineer that's gone into Coughlin's car, but the Vandenelsens, Chris and Dave's father, and son Dave's father, they basically tried to reinvent the Super Buggy as well. They've gone on the mid-engine car that's got quick change rear end. They're trying to do some experimental stuff as well. And over the last couple of years, they've gotten a lot faster.
Yeah, Vandenelsen, you're correct, Shane.
Up to the back bumper, Steinhardt. Back out front, it's all Hester. He will take the white flag here in a couple turns after he flies down the Ziegler catapult.
Yeah, you were talking about 96 career wins for Hester.
Yeah, trying to make it 97 here for this ERX crowd.
That's not an easy task. Anytime you're sneaking towards 100 victories. I mean, we seen Kyle Anu a couple weeks back taking his 100th win and his 101 win. So, I mean, it can be done, but it takes a long, long time. So Hester putting in the work year after year as we go back. Look at Mark Steinhardt just tiptoeing his way around, but Vandenelsen, he's not going away.
Yeah, Vandenelsen's got a lot of straight line speed. It looks like Vandenelsen's car not quite handling as well as Steinhardt. We look back out front, and once Hester got out front, he just pretty much checked out from the rest of his field in his Rod and Supply Pro Buggy class.
Yeah, definitely well out in front. No one to be found. I know Steinhardt's running in 2nd, but you can't see him on our camera as he goes through Ziegler Cat Turn. Can you say 97 career victories, Shane? He's going to do it here in Elk River, Minnesota, and ERX Motor Park clicking another one off for his career.
Yeah, coming all the way from Orlando, sponsored by Sloan's Automotive and Precision Racing Technology. Steinhardt across the line second. Vandenelsen. Tell you what, Vandenelsen had to hold off a charge by Schwalbe there at the end. And right after he finished, Vandenelsen goes up in smoke there.
Well, it lasted long enough.
Just
Shane.
long
That's
enough.
all you need.
If this race was 11 laps, we might have seen Vandenelsen pull over. As we take a look at our finishing order, Hester with win number 97, Steinhardt second, Vandenelsen third, then it's Schwalbe, and I gotta say again, Coughlin, a little bit surprising to see him run up front for that long, but he's finally putting it all together. Great run for those guys.
Chris Vandenelsen, this one came all the way down to the wire. Walk me through the last half of that last lap.
Oh, that last lap was it's bittersweet. Final jump here, I blew my motor, so they had to bring me back on the cart here. So, yeah, it was interesting.
That's for sure. Well, hopefully you guys can get things turned around with that motor program for tomorrow. Who would you like to thank for the performance today?
I first got to thank Rod End Supply for the class sponsor, my family, my wife, my spotter, my loving wife, I should say. Grandma for watching, my dad, my brother, my cousin Nick that's here. Let's see, who else we got? Yeah, I don't know. All my sponsors, thank you. It was a crazy race.
Well, an interesting one for sure. Congratulations. Chris Vandenelsen, our third place finisher. Mark Steinhardt, a great run for you. What happened out there from your perspective?
Well, I got to congratulate Chris Coughlin. He ran a heck of a good race at the beginning of the race. And Mike was able to sneak by me while I was trying to get by Chris. And then I just lost ground to Mike, and congratulations to Mike.
Who would you like to thank?
I got to thank Pete from Pete Inc. Performance, Laundry Lobby, Wash Smart, and Alamode out of Rhinelander Fastenal, Glenn Matthews for helping me out, and Rod End Supply also for supporting this class, and they have for a few years, so we really appreciate that.
Mike Steinhardt, our second place finisher. Michael Hester, 97 wins. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's been a long journey to get here. You know, we're trying to close in on 100, so that's the goal.
I think we may very easily see triple digits for wins here this season from you. Who would you like to thank for this one?
Well, first off, I'd like to thank my wife. This weekend is our 35th wedding anniversary. So, just gotta say, thanks for sticking with me all these years, putting up with this habit, you know, and gotta say thanks to my two daughters, and love to all of them. Thanks very much to my spotter, Terry Sloan, Sloan's Automotive, JL Golding, Waterproofing, Jeff. Thanks to Gary Thistlewood, Precision Automotive out of Macon, Georgia, and Besh Engineering out of Tavares. And then again, thank you for everybody that puts on this race here, the track. It's a wonderful place to race. It's a lot of fun. This track's been really good to us. We've done well every time we've raced here. And lastly, I'd just like to say thank you to Rod End Supply for sponsoring the Super Buggy class. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Hats off to Mike Hester, and thank you to the Hester family for sharing him with us here this weekend for that 97th win. This is your Pro Buggy Top 3.